Everybody, welcome to the Cypher, the Burial Heist, which is taking place in the Cypher role-playing game system. My name is DM Dreads, and I will be your dungeon master today. We have a wonderful assortment of characters with us today, and I am looking forward to testing your wits and taking you to very mental extremes. This should be very funny. What I want to do and what I want to start off with is and tell you kind of the background for the story. And I'm glad to go to put in those backgrounds. Really good. I love it. You guys have been adventuring together for some time. For your various reasons, you formed a very strong bond together. You have traveled from cold, icy glaciers to warm hells inside of volcanoes. You fought all types of demons and monsters and dragons and creatures because you guys, at your heart, are good-hearted people. You love saving people. You love making sure that the little man, at least that's kind of how the group thing is. You guys all have your personal reasons why, but as a group, you're kind of like the A team of fantasy and Dungeons and Dragons. And that type of reputation garners attention, and you have garnered a lot of attention over these years, both good and both bad. You've created lots of enemies, and you have lost quite a few friends, but still you persevere, and that's kind of why you are what you guys move on to. So I want one person in the party, and just one person, to tell me what is the name of this adventuring band.
Serious question.
I think he spoke first, so you get to name it, right?
The runarounds?
You are the runarounds, because no one gives you the runaround without paying the price.
Can I add? Can we be the reticent runarounds?
I like that. You are the reticent runarounds.
Like the way I think.
You guys are already working well together. This should go very swimmingly right now. The reticent runarounds, you guys have garnered quite a bit of attention. And one time, after clearing out an entire undead crypt filled with zombies and skeletons, and returning the stolen horde back to the town of Arvo, you guys had decided to garner some rest there. This was many times ago, many years ago. In any case, that was the last actual time that you went, well, one of the last more times that you had went on a successful, what you would deem to be a completely successful mission, because it was at that time when you got to the town of Arvo that your life changed forever. And then we have a time skip, and now we start the adventure. Each of you have the same sensation. It's claustrophobic in here, and you can't breathe. The air is being taken away from you, sucked out like something trying to pull your life from out of you. You find yourself in a box, but you're not alone. In this 6 by 3 foot box that's shaped oddly like a coffin is one of your comrades with you, the comrade that you see on the screen. Zim, you are in a coffin with Gemini. What character is that? Shohana? Am I Shohana?
Yes.
You are in a coffin with Vigo. There we go. Who is playing the character of Gemini?
I'm Faust is my character. My name was Gemini.
Faust, you are in a coffin with Zim. Helena, you are in a coffin with, who is this here? With Vayala.
Yeah, that works.
And you guys are laying horizontal, pretty much squished together. You guys have all your weapons and all your items on you. You have strange scratches on you as well. Though with the little bit of light that you have inside of this coffin from Let's say you have you guys are each carrying a lantern. From each one of those light sources, you can see that each of you have various scars and stuff on you, and you're in this wooden box that has absolutely surrounded you. I'm gonna go one by one and ask, what are you doing? Zim, what is your character doing or going to do? If you don't want to do anything, I'll just skip and go to the next person.
I think Zim is going to be looking for uh, uh, cracks in the wood, holes, any way to open or weak spots in this particular structure.
All right, looking at the various cracks in the wood, you realize that the wood is splintering at the corners in several of the places, um, and it does not appear that this coffin was made with great care. Just as hastily as you guys have gone into battle, this coffin looks like it was built with the same amount of effort.
I'll attempt to push it open.
All right, you attempt to push the coffin open, but you find that it's kind of pushing back on top of you. Go ahead and give me a might check.
Okay.
All right. All right, Zim. On your character sheet, Zim, and I'm gonna go over this kind of just to make it quick. On your character sheet, Zim, I'm gonna have you go ahead and give me a might check, and I'm gonna give you a CR. I should be giving you I will give you a difficulty check every time that you'll need to make one of these checks. On your character sheet, you should see where it says difficulty class. I want you to select difficulty class 2. Okay. Then go on your character sheet, and next to the little dice, next to the might button, click on that, and that'll be the roll for your character. That'll help me not have to make so much discerning. You also are welcome to use any effort if you want to. You can find that in that little action box as well, or you can you can use any effort you want to, if you had an item or whatnot that would help you out. You are able to use that as well. All right. You just shove the coffin door open, and you could tell that it had a lock on it, but it was no match for your brute strength. And as you shove the coffin door open, I'm sorry, what was your character name again? Zim, right? That was Zim who did that action?
Yeah, that was me.
All right, Zim. You break open the coffin. And as the coffin breaks open and splinters all about you, you hear the pitter-pattering of large insects inside of this graveyard. It's nighttime, and you don't see the moon, or you don't see these moon or anything in the sky other than incredible clouds covering the entire area. Trees litter all about in this old decrepit graveyard as these massive insects look like they're chowing down on two bodies that you see both here, and I'm going to ping it. So when I ping in roll 20, you're going to see the dots move, and here. And I'm not going to move into initiative yet. I'm going to go through everybody, and then if you want, we'll go ahead and we'll move into initiative. So Faust, I'm going to round back to you because you guys got out. So I am going to start back off with Helena and Vig. What are you guys going to do? I'm sorry, in Helena and Vela, what are you guys going to do?
Oh, Helena, I think you're muted.
I'm back. Hello. Hey, Vela. So I'm just kind of catching up for a second with Vela. I'm enjoying having a moment to rest here in this dark box. Just catching up. It's been a while.
Awesome. What are you guys talking about?
So what you been up to since the last time we adventured? What's been going on?
Well, we really haven't been in a tight box before.
No, we haven't. This is kind of new. What do you think? I don't know. Should we hang out here or try to get out?
I would like to get out.
All right. We can catch up later.
So, do we hear the bugs?
What you heard is loud bang, which would have came from the other casket being burst open, but you're too far. Well, no, sorry, you're too buried right now to have heard the bugs yet. But you can tell things are happening up top.
Yeah. So, Helena, you know, I think we need to get out this box.
All right. I guess it's time for another adventure.
I agree. So, do you want to help me push this open, or try to bust it open?
Yeah. We both push against the box.
Awesome. All right. So this is how this works with the Cypher system. Again, one of you, and I'm going to pick Helena. On your character sheet, you're going to see where that action box is. Go ahead and select challenge rating 2.
All right. Difficulty 2.
Difficulty 2. And you're going to add, I believe asset is in there. Viola is going to be an asset to you. So you're going to put 2 points of asset for her being an asset there.
Okay.
All right. Now go over to the might button, which you're going to see those 3 ability scores. There's a might button. Click that little die there.
Okay.
The little die next to it. Okay. Yeah, both of you guys are needed for this too, as you are, for some reason, you've been relaxing a little too long. And it takes 2 of you. I mean, it only took 1 Zim, but it takes 2 of you guys to shove it open. And you do shove it open. As you shove it open, you see exactly the same type of scene where these 2 10-foot tall, amber-looking scarabs that look like they're gnawing into these decaying bodies that are littered with blood and pieces of flesh along this graveyard that you're in. Finally, we're going to circle back around to the last box. Shauna and Vigo, what are you guys doing?
I think I'd like to investigate the box and just kind of see, kind of like they did earlier, just to see if there's any weak points or anything.
All right. You do notice that along this box, again, it looks like it was hastily made. It doesn't look like your typical, like you buried quite a few people and loved ones. This does not look like it was done with care. It doesn't look like it's going to be difficult to break out of there.
Do we have our equipment?
Yeah, that's the odd thing. You guys have all your equipment. Who
Nice.
buries people with their equipment? You can't take it with you, right?
Right. I don't have a knife. I have a broadsword. Yeah, I used the broadsword to try to break up the lid.
All right. So items and stuff with me, because we're playing a one-shot, I don't make you go to the store. If you have an item, you have the item. You can have a knife if you want to. You're adventurers. You would definitely have things and tools. So if you have, if you want to have a tool kit, explorer kit, or something like that, you guys have it. So you go into your thieves kit and you pull out
a small. What's the English word again? One moment. Crowbar? No, what's it called? You're breaking up stuff again.
Crowbar. You pull out your crowbar.
Thank you. Man,
it's still, you know, the funny thing is you pull out this crowbar and it still has stained blood from the rust monster that you beat not too long ago in an adventure.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give me a might check. I don't know if you heard the way, but I'm going to go through the character thing. I'm sorry?
Can I help at all?
You can help. So you're going to be the asset for it. So he's going to get 2 points of asset, using you as the asset.
And 2 points, yeah.
2 points of asset. And
difficulty.
I wanted it. The difficulty, even though I said it's 2, because you're also using the crowbar, it's going to go down to 1.
Okay. Cool. Simple. Might, I guess.
Yeah, go ahead and hit might.
Hitting might.
Yep. And it's almost difficult to avoid this roll. So when you're down to 0, when you actually can take something down to 0, you don't have to make the roll. But you should, because you never know what kind of fun stuff you're going to get.
What did I roll?
Did it show up yet?
No, I can't
sometimes
see
roll.
it.
Sorry, sometimes roll 20 is a little slow.
Yeah, well, I can do it on the map instead. I should. There. I roll a 3. Yeah.
All right, so you rolled a 3, but again, not a great roll. But because you're there, and actually, it's one of those times where you're trying, but you know Shavana's doing most of the work. So, so they're like back there. They're doing this thing where they're just like, oh God, not this again. And they go the extra mile and push it open. The coffin is open, and again, you see this same scene where some of your comrades have already left in the battle and engaged, and we're going to go through combat right now. I pre-roll initiative just to kind of keep things going in a one shot. Normally, there's a way where you roll an initiative and you compare it against the monster. I have pre-done that, so the monster goes there. Some of you have initiative as a skill that moves you a little bit higher, or that moves you a little bit higher. than where the Jasper is, or it wouldn't have had an effect to begin with. So these two Jasper colored scarab beetles are in here feeding on what looks like a corpse right now. And we're going to start off with you, Joanna. What do you do?
Can I see them? I only see the box still.
Oh, because the DM has not moved you out the box.
Oh my.
Oh.
There you guys go.
Can we go back to the box?
Okay. And he has retired from adventuring at this point. Nah, I'm done.
So, am I within range to use my greatsword?
Yes, you are. You're actually touching right again. You get out, you crawl out, and it's right in front of you.
Okay.
It's like
That
little
sounds good. I would like to attack with my greatsword.
All right, so when you're attacking with your greatsword, you should have an attack on your attack button. You're going to put in that difficulty again. These Jasper colored beetles are difficulty 3.
Okay. Difficulty 3, and just roll the die next to the greatsword.
Roll a nice die next to the greatsword. Yep. All right. So not only did you just not only did you have to do all the work, you had to climb out of there, and then you just slammed into the beetle with your greatsword. I'm gonna scroll back and I'm gonna pause it for a second. The way I put in greatsword, pretty much, or sword for anyone, you can describe your weapon however you want to describe your weapon in with this. It's just a placeholder. So do you want to have a greatsword, or do you want to smash this creature with something else?
I like the greatsword. I'm up for that. Yeah.
All right, you just plunge your sword in. You feel the cartilage, the bones, and the blood start to splur out as green mist spurts right into Vigo's eyes. And I don't know if you did that on purpose, but it does. As you kill this creature, you rolled a 19. Now, when you roll a 19 or 20 in Cypher, something awesome happens, and it'll tell you underneath there. So you do an additional 3 damage. So you do, I believe your greatsword does 4 damage. And yeah, 6 damage. So you did a total of 6 damage. So that 6 damage obliterates the creature as it crawls up. Little forelegs all kind of crawl up on themselves, leaving very little work for the rest of your party members. We're going to go ahead and we are going to switch to. We're going to go ahead and switch to. Make sure I get that going. Now, what you're going to see here is I'm using an initiative combat to move through combat. We're going to go to Faust. He's next. And you're going to see a little timer underneath it. Don't mind it. It's just a reminder that I give everybody about 5 minutes for the character, but please take way less time than that. Faust, your go.
Yeah, just as an FYI, my fog of war just shows the group. It doesn't show what everybody else is seeing. So if that's something I'm supposed to see, I'm not seeing that. But in essence, Faust sits upright, the metal of his meat hooks clanging on his back against the leather-clad metal plates that make up his coat. He stands and pulls from his side what appears to be kind of a piston attached to a metal gear, and it thunks to the ground in its heavy nature. He rises the gear and piston and wallops against the scarab with a mighty blow with his heavy weapon.
All right. Go ahead, and again, that's going to be difficulty 3. And you're going to use the weapon that you are with. I'm trying to fix your character too.
Trying to see. So next to weapons, I don't see a small die. I just see this.
Oh, no. Go scroll a little bit up where attacks are, actually.
Where attacks are. So I think I just see my special attacks here. Just FYI.
All right.
Dash, Overwatch.
Let me make sure I got the right character for you, right? Are you representing? Am I supposed to have that character? Is that it? The false character? Is this it?
Faust, yep.
All right. Can you see more now?
Yeah. Hang on. Sorry, guys.
You are quite okay.
I can just throw in an attack here. So it's a trained attack at damage 6, distance immediate. Is there a cost associated with it?
There is no cost associated. What are you doing? You're just doing a regular attack, right? There shouldn't be a cost associated with it.
Okay.
So you should be fine. Oh yeah, your warrior. You don't have your weapon here. God, this is okay. I didn't see that. All right. Let's see. Difficulty 3. You rolled a 19. You two follow up and just obliterate the creature. Let's see, where are you at? You run over to this little creature over here, and with your sword, you plunge it directly into the underbelly of the creature. It crumbles down to the ground, dead. As the creature crumbles to the ground, crawling through the gate, two more appear, with their eyes now set on avenging their friends. Helena, your go.
Okay, so I look at these guys and I think that they're pretty gross, and I am not excited about having to deal with them. So I think to myself, I would like to use my. Now, am I close enough to? I would like to use my crossbow.
All right, you whip out your crossbow. Again, this is going to be very difficult. These are difficulty 2s because they have not had a meal yet. So you're going to use these at difficulty 2.
Okay. So difficulty 2. All right. And then roll the die next to crossbow.
Roll the die next to crossbow.
All right.
All right, you easily slam into them. Well, just barely. The bolts of the crossbow plunge into their legs, sending them falling and crumbling till one crumbles slightly to the ground. It has a slight limp, but it is not dead as of yet.
Not yet. Do I still have an action?
That was using your crossbow was your action, though you can move away across the field. I don't think it will. Tactically, it won't matter because you're in a short distance. So you would want to move usually first and then crossbow, but you came out with your crossbow, and that would be your action.
Okay.
Vigo, your go.
Yeah, I'm gonna use my crossbow as well because it's far away. I can't throw my sword. So let's see what that gave me, and we'll see it.
Yeah, we will see.
Yeah. How to do it like this? Yeah.
All right, the bolt sails clean and succeeds, destroying.
Yay! I'm
destroying
special.
one creature.
I'm helping.
It destroys the one creature that she shot. Pretty much, you guys almost kind of like had a really good team spirit as you're both shooting out your crossbows, and the creatures fall to the ground. Lastly, we have Zim, and then we have Viola, and then the creatures will go next. Zim, you may be muted if I can't hear you.
Wrong button. Okay, so I see a creature that's wounded down by Faust, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I think my crossbow should be able to, or my hand crossbow should be able to reach that far. You said difficulty 2 for those because they haven't eaten?
Yeah, difficulty 2. These ones look a little bit smaller, not as full as the other two. All right. Yes. You attempt to shoot with your crossbow. Unfortunately, it goes wide right. The creature opens up its loud maw. It actually does go. I accidentally erased it, but it does go before you go with Viola. So it is going to go over here and try to take a bite out of Faust. And one of the things with Cypher is the DM, I don't roll. I just tell you that what the difficulty is. And again, these are difficulty 2. So are you going to try to dodge this attack as it tries to take a piece out of your shoulder?
Faust, you're muted.
I think you are still muted, Faust.
Sorry, is that the only option, or is there a fight back option, or
there is no only option? You really only do fighting attacks on your option or your attack, unless you have an ability that says otherwise.
Is there any
usually have in the defense?
I'm sorry.
No,
sorry. Is there any disadvantage to not dodging or to dodging?
The disadvantage to there is no disadvantage to not dodging. No. There's no disadvantage to not dodging. Like, you won't use an action. You're not using a reaction or anything like that. You'll be able to dodge another attack. Sure. All right, so go ahead and roll a difficulty 2.
And what am I rolling for that?
You are going to roll speed if you don't have a speed defense. I'm sorry. So when in Cypher, when you roll to defend, you're usually going to roll one of those three. Usually going to roll speed, and that acts as your defense.
And so my armor will still apply if it does hit me. Is that
Your
right?
armor will still apply. All right, but it doesn't hit you. The maw hits your armor, and it breaks one of its mandibles along your armor. Finally, we have Viola. Your go.
So as these Jasper beetle scarabs were coming out, it made me think of a story. So I want to enthrall the beetle with the story of a cockroach that wanted to take down the moon. And while I'm saying this story, I'm looking at my other compatriot saying, and while this cockroach is enthralled, maybe we can kill it.
All right, so you're going to go ahead and use your enthrall ability on your character sheet. I think that costs 1 point. And the difficulty... Wait, is there a difficulty for that? Let's see. Go ahead and click. That's going to be a difficulty 2. I believe that is an action. So you're going to go ahead and hit the dice next to the enthrall button. All right. And oddly enough, it's almost like the creature understands you. Weirdly enough, for a beetle, as it is really interested. It's like completely enthralled by the story, wanting to know what happens next. As it locks eyes with you and does not want to move from that. So we're back to the top of the round with Shayona.
So I have a flintlock pistol, it looks like.
You do it again. It's a ranged weapon. You are welcome to describe it however you wish, but this game, it takes place in a kind of almost industrial fantasy realm where they do have pistols.
I would like to use that then.
All right. Well, you get somebody a pistol, they're going to want to use it. Chekhov's gun. Go ahead and give me a difficulty 2 check. Difficulty 2 on that one.
Gotcha.
Wow, the gun clicks back. Big pop happens. Smoke comes out of it. And once again, you finish off the second creature, leaving you guys alone with these very bloody, very large bug carcasses all about the battlefield. There is a gate broken down in the southern part of the field. And to the right, you find a wagon and a barrel that looks like it has some objects inside of it. The battle is over. What do you guys do?
I approach one of the fallen beasts and
searching the corpse.
I would like to investigate the barrel.
All right. So if you're investigating any area, go ahead and give me a difficulty 3 check on any ability that you're using for that investigation. I'll go into the chat and I'll go one by one as they come along and tell you what you find.
Okay. I will go over to the wagon to investigate that. You said difficulty 3?
Difficulty is 3. And using any of your skills, and if you don't have a skill to investigate, it's going to be an intellect check.
Studying? Is that a nice?
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Sounds like it'll work.
Okay. Difficulty
3.
3. Difficulty 3, yeah. No assets. Intellect, I guess.
That would be intellect.
Intellect.
All right. Viola, what are you actually let's go to this out. Viola. Seeing as though the monsters have been killed, but not knowing exactly where you are, why you guys are even here, you go over to study. You go over to investigate. Where were you investigating?
I was going to investigate the wagon.
All right, you go over to investigate the wagon. Looking at the wagon, this wagon looks like it has large claw marks in it that matches the creatures you just defeated. It looks like it was carrying, what you find inside of the wagon is watches. There is musty clothing inside of it. You find some rings, some pieces of jewelry, and you also find a large barrel. And in this large barrel, you find 5 very well carved master work clubs inside of it. All right. A picture should have popped up on all of your screens. This is what you find inside of the barrel.
Like those.
Oh, shiny.
I want the second one from the right. Have to make one of those. Me, not the character.
Did you don't find anything else of interest in the barrels. Moving further down, we get to Zim. What were you searching? Or what were you going to investigate about this scene?
I guess I was originally going to investigate the barrel or the cart, but since that was already done, I will investigate the creatures, the body of the dead creatures.
All right, you go over and look at the body of the dead creatures. You pull out a knife and start to cut open the stomach of the creatures first, and look at what they've been eating. And you don't find pieces or chunks of food inside of these creatures. Instead, you find more items that were in like the wagon. Like you went over to the wagon, you know what's in the wagon, then you went over inside the creature, and now you find like pieces of metal. There's no food. It doesn't look like they were actually eating the corpses, but they were eating the material on the corpses. Moving on to Helena and Virgo. Helena. Wait, did I skip Faust? I did. Faust, were you investigating anything different, or did you want me to move on?
Yes. So Faust leans down and gets some of the blood of the creature that he was just destroyed and smears it on his cheek before he walks over to the box that was broken out of and begins picking up pieces of wood, examining it for any marks or anything that could give a clue as to where we're at or what's happening.
Oh, you do that, and you find that there are ritual marks on each one of the you find ritual marks on each one of the boxes. These ritual marks appear to be elven and appear to contain both divine and necromantic type symbols. These necromantic and divine symbols are arranged in a way that you have never seen before, as if it was some type of spell that has long since been lost to time.
Intriguing. Is there a way that I could attempt to decipher these markings or no?
You could, but the difficulty would be quite high. It would be a difficulty 7 check.
And does it have anything to do with sleep at all, or no? Just
it does have something to do with sleep.
It does. All right. Well, we can move this to 7.
Oh. Unfortunately, you all hear more creatures start to crawl out of the ground just as you're checking out the wood. It feels like you may have disturbed something from all of your studying. As you, of course, when you're trying to figure out some magical stuff, you kind of cast a spell. Wait a minute, is this how fire gets? And it's like, oh, that was the wrong thing to cast as you have attracted more creatures. It does not feel that you guys have more time here, and you probably should make haste out of here to try to find out exactly where you are. Looking all about you, it doesn't appear that you are even on the same plane that you were once on. Something is wrong with the air, wrong with the sky, it's wrong with the ground, and you don't have a lot more time left.
Never fear, everyone. We are merely in a dream.
So unfortunately, we have to move past this scene. Or you have to fight more monsters. What do you wish to do?
Me?
I
the
personally
group.
want to get out of here.
I'd like to get out of here.
What you do now, Faust?
Let's see what else we can find
Always messing things up, aren't you? Yeah.
elsewhere.
I'm
I'm
gonna put
running.
together some of the planks and start leaving.
I'm getting out of here.
Go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna just gather you all together. You guys are running out. And as you're running out, you guys get a headache. There's a small headache that turns into a large migraine that happens to you guys as you all fall into this weird little deep sleep, so to speak.
Okay.
And everything changes, and you smell fresh air, and you smell scents, and you smell spices, and you find yourself in a weird market. When you guys left that town that you were in, you started to get memories from it. You heard that there were men that had taken children from their homes and were going to sell them on the black market, and you could have none of that. You chased them down. You killed every single slaver that was guarding this black market until you reached the end. And when you reached the end of this black market, you found 2 necromancers that were not just selling the children, but they were taking the souls of the children, and they were selling the empty vessels on the slave market, almost like robotic automatons. You guys had a very strong battle, a very hard fought battle, but you ended up defeating them, and you rescued the children, and you took the children home. And when you took the children home to their parents, there was one elven house that said, if you ever need anything, you come back here, for you saved my heir. Me and my wife tried hard to have a child. And the fact that you rescued our only son means we are forever indebted to you.
Okay.
You guys sprint down the single road that leads. You sprint down the single road that leads down into the jungles. And just for clarification, everybody should be getting a map change right now. You sprint down this road, and it appears that as you're walking down the road, it is you, Viola, that finds a note in your pocket.
So I take the note out. Like, what's this?
You stop along this road as you see bright lights far off into the distance, and you hear loud music far off into the distance as well. All right. Do me a favor and go into, there's a little tab up at the top. Hold on 1 minute. Everybody on the screen. There's a little, almost like on the map. It's actually on the map. It looks like a little document tab. Like a little, it says page toolbar. I forgot about this. Because you're a GM, it's not going to change, and I just thought about that. Go ahead and click on the casino. That should get you on the map. Did it change? Okay, cool. You should be good now. All right, back to the adventure. You guys are walking along this path, and it is Viola who discovers this note on your person.
I share the note with the rest of the party. I don't know what that first word is.
It's very clearly Yerka.
The Nerka Palace. Steal back from 3rd floor. Midnight. They're pretty serious about this midnight thing, guys.
You can see by the 3 exclamation points.
It is that triple exclamation points that strikes the fear that you are on some type of timer.
What?
Do we know what time it is?
Oh, let's see here.
Looking up at the sky and even trying to remember what happened before you guys got here, you don't have a recollection of what time it is. You don't have a recollection of what time it is before you kind of started losing understanding and before you got buried, nor can you tell from here. But what you do see as you move up ahead in this forest is you see a large glittering signs, almost like fireworks spell out these signs. You see here, Nirka's Palace. And out of Nirka's Palace, you hear this interesting sound of trumpets playing around with saxophones, melodying off a piano, and you hear the sounds of laughter and joy all throughout that building. Sounds like a lot of people are having fun inside of there. But the building itself looks like just a single floor ship. You don't see any additional floors to it whatsoever.
Interesting. Well, place matches the note. I think this is where we're supposed to go.
So this is Nirka's palace. Maybe.
I think we should check it out.
Yes.
Casually mingle.
All right. Now, when you're watching people go into this palace, you see it seems like people are just coming out of the jungle, and they're very well dressed. You see women in very beautiful dresses. You see men in very, very dapper, very good looking suits. And a lot of these people they don't all look like various species that come from your own worlds. You see bird people that go through here, and regular human beings, obviously. And at some points, you see little cat Cthulhus walk through as well. As you guys walk in, you clearly feel off the back you are incredibly underdressed, as you are the only ones in here without any type of formal clothing on. You get a couple of stared eyes, but not so many where people are you get a couple of eyes more or less staring at you, but the situation is not so well off where you feel incredibly uncomfortable. They're not looking at you like you don't belong here. They're simply looking at you like, wow, that's weird. I didn't know we could wear that. you walk into the casino. And for those who walked into the casino, you're immediately realize, one, it is a casino. You hear ding, 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 ding all around. You hear, hey, hit me. You hear the sounds of gambling all around you, the sounds of music all around you. It's incredibly lively in here. And definitely a different atmosphere than trudging into a dungeon and killing a bunch of undead creatures.
This place seems fun.
Yeah, this is a change.
Mm-hmm.
This is more like it.
I make certain whenever I catch anybody glaring at me, particularly since I'm hideous, to make sure I really lock eyes with them. I don't. Every time they look at me, I just really look straight back, daggers into their eyes, and then I give them a creepy smile and a wink.
Is there like a bar or some place where an employee is standing?
You must have read my mind, because that's the employee you see that just pop up. A woman, and this is what they get paid to do. An elven woman approaches you, very, very beautiful caramel skin, very slender figure, approaches you with a shot of very, very pink and purple liquid in these glasses as she approaches. Hi, you guys must be new here. Welcome. Can I help you? Do you need to have help with any of the games? We have Baccarat, we have poker, we have a awesome blackjack table that's really, really, really taking off. But you also see a sense of concern on her face as well as she hands you the drinks.
I just moved over there. So, what you playing?
You say, what do I suggest you play?
No, yeah, I'm asking. What you playing to the person playing there?
Oh, hold on, let me make sure.
Yeah.
All right, you ignore the shot glass Vigo, and approach the person who is playing at the craps table.
Yeah, sure, craps. That's cool.
You see that these little dice, and the symbols on the dice don't match the number that you see. And as you approach, it's the first time that you actually also see what the dealer looks like. And looking at the dealer, you see this long, and that's the best way to say it, long-looking being, and you can't really tell if it's a male or a female. It just has these deep white eyes and these cloak surrounding him, and he looks as if if you didn't see his chest going in and out, he'd look as if he were undead.
Man, you're a scary one, aren't you?
Do you need help with the craps table? Do you need to know the rules? We'd love for you to join us.
Tell me the rules, and I'll decide if I join you.
All right. Well, you go ahead and roll, and you're going to roll until you hit. You need to get 2 matches, or you need to roll a 7. You need to either roll the dice and get 1, and then get another match before you roll a 7, and you win.
Okay, but do I understand the numbers on the dice, or is it strange numbers?
As you stare at them, you kind of don't know the symbols, but it almost feels like it's being put into your head, like instantly translated.
Okay. The problem is impulsive. Yeah, I'm rolling the dice.
I was like, if you're impulsive, I'm gonna GM Fiat and say that you take the dice out of his hand and you roll the dice.
Oh yeah.
And I gave you guys off. FYI, I'm gonna pause for a second because I wanted to pause between acts. So what we went through in the graveyard, that was Act 1. It was an intro act there to make sure that it gets the party together, teaches you the rules a little bit of how to do things, and also kind of just gives you a straightforward mission and introduces a mystery or puzzle. Being that you have this weird note, you guys were buried alive, and you're having flashbacks, and you really don't remember what those flashbacks are. Wanted to make sure I went ahead and established that before we got too far into this. I am going to be bouncing around to you guys. I'm going to be cutting scenes out, so we're going to treat this like it's a movie. Vigo, you immediately go in. Even though the shot glass girl is there, the camera follows you and follows you to the table as you, hey, what are we playing? Grab the dice, and you don't even wait. You just immediately shoot the dice before the dealer kind of takes the dice, puts them back in your ass, and asks you, how much are you betting?
This one I pull. I just go down in my pouch and I take out some coins. Basically, this.
Excellent.
Throw them at the table.
All right, you take out some coins and you throw them on the table. We're gonna pause there because the camera looks at the coins as they dangle and they flip around, they land on the table. And I don't know if your character noticed it, but those coins change. And all of a sudden you see your face on those coins. And we stop as you have bet those 10 coins with your face on it.
Oh, Okay.
All right, we switch back over to Viola and the rest of the party with the shot. Actually, Viola, you've gone over to the to the blackjack table. Were you still engaging with the shot girl, or?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna switch back to the scene with the shot girl. We go back. The camera pulls back now to the shot girl with the 5 people you guys remaining. And again, feel free to go wherever you want to here. Wow, he kind of almost looks at that guy like, okay, well, do you guys want drinks? And then again, she just looks really concerned as she's asking you this.
Can I?
One at a time. I believe you were first. Go ahead. Can you, Autumn? I'm sorry.
Oh, I just wanted to see if I could use my sense emotion skill to see.
Sure.
Okay. Is there a difficulty for that, or?
Go ahead and read me off that skill. Tell me just really briefly. Tell me what it does. Awesome. Thank you. All right, let's go down to the bottom. Oh, it's an actual skill. It's just a skill. Go ahead, and this is gonna be a challenge rating 5. I thought it was ability. It's gonna be a challenge rating 5.
Oh, okay.
No. Shiona, you are very good at being able to tell when someone is like happy or sad, but this just all the noise in the room is really messing with you right now, and you aren't able to really tell. You can tell something's wrong, but you really can't sense what it is.
Gotcha.
So you're kind of studying this person to do this, and I'm gonna go who hasn't had a turn. Viola, what are you doing?
Well, I'm gonna pick up a shot and I'm gonna take it because it looks pretty, and this whole environment is just inspiring me to just have this story in my head and say, you know what, we have this writing. Is there a 3rd floor here? As I'm taking the shot.
And again, in front of each one of these dealers, there's a person like who looks like that, just FYI. But you're talking to the shot girls now. When you say, is there a 3rd floor there? The cringe in her face, the eyes, the way her eyes just kind of slant down. No, not really. Only the pit boss has access to the other floors, and we haven't seen him in a while. Anyway, enjoy your time here. Not that it matters, but enjoy. And that's when you guys all can tell that something is a little bit off. Everybody but the impulsive Figo, give me some type of intellect check with the challenge rating being 5. Give me an intellect check. This is trying to sense something, so if you have a perception or anything else, even a study, you can go ahead and do that. You can be very creative with these skills. Just something to kind of read the room.
So is challenge level the difficulty in action?
The difficulty, yes, 5. So the challenge level, I should probably use the same terminology. So that's going to be 5. All right. It looks like everybody here, but Viola and Helena, are able to kind of. Helena, I'm sorry, I should start off like this. Viola, Helena, and Zem. You guys all notice something incredibly odd here. And that's when you realize it. You guys have probably been to gambling halls and things such as that before. And at this point, you keep hearing, winner, winner, winner. Everybody's winning. And there's not a lot of losing going on. And even when there's losing going on, it sounds like there's way more winning. There's way more happier people. You've been to gambling halls before. And there should be at least somebody crying their eyes out in the corner because they bet their home. But you don't see any of that in here. Everybody's having a good time right now.
Tim would say the house always wins.
Can I go?
Supposed to.
By the way, real quick, Vigo, I want you to give me an intellect check. The challenge rating is going to be 4.
Yeah. Okay. One moment. I have to find my character sheet. I managed to remove it.
Oh, don't worry. You're doing it. Don't just put it in the chat. You're good. I'm gonna switch back over to everyone talking. Yeah, you guys have all noticed.
What level of difficulty?
It's gonna be challenge rating 4, and anything that you want that can be. I mean, challenge rating 4, and use any skill that you feel would be comfortable or useful while gambling.
Okay. Yeah, studying maybe.
That sounds like it could work.
Yeah. And intellect. A 3. This is gonna go great.
All right, we're gonna pause that scene because the scene keeps interlacting with you rolling, and what this is, that just doesn't represent one time. That's gonna represent about 10 to 15 minutes of keep betting it, keep it going, keep it going.
Oh yeah.
In the meantime, Viola, you and Helena walk. The chat girl walks away from you guys, despite the fact that she looks incredibly unengaged right now. I think I addressed what you were doing, Zim. I don't think I found out what you were doing.
Zim's on mute. I also haven't.
So I've been wondering my way around, like up the stairs. Like I see these little, like, even though there's only one floor, it seems like there are tiers to the floors. And so I'm just sort of, nonchalantly trying to make a big wide circle of the room, including those 3 layers.
All right. As you approach each level, you kind of saunter off and approach each level. And as you approach each level, before you get to the second level, see if you still continue this action. Hello, sir. Heading to the high roller table. These 4 armor, all of these armors, they just look very stoic around. You don't see any guards around or anything like that. But when you approach the stairs, then the armor begins to animate. Hello, sir. Do you wish to enter the high roller area?
Yes, I do. I'm just wanting to take a look around and pick a good table.
Excellent. Bets are a minimum of 15 there.
Okay.
And then it allows you to just walk in. As you approach to the third level, the upper level, the second level, you see a large door that says employees only over it, guarded by what looks to be 2 pieces of armor. And then when you approach the third floor, it's quiet up here. You haven't gone through any door. I'm sorry, the third floor. You haven't gone through any doors, but it's incredibly quiet. Too quiet. Like you don't even hear the sounds coming from the lower floors. As you see individuals around 2 tables on both sides, and they're pretty much identical, playing what looks to be poker, very, very quietly. The looks of these people playing is very discerning and very, very intimidating, as they look like they're going to kill one another looking over the table as they look up and then they look towards their cards. They see you approach, and one of them goes, a tall, blonde-haired human male. Nah, just what we need. More fresh meat.
Just picking the right table.
If you came to the high rollers table and you don't know what the right table is, and then he stands up, and that's when you can see his impressive physique. A sword on his back as large as his arm. If you can't find the right table up here, don't disturb our game. Why don't you go down there and play with the children?
Now, can I make like even if I back away, can I make some sort of, just sort of case the area to see if there's anybody that looks overtly suspicious?
Go ahead and give me a challenge rating 4 check. Use any skill you feel is important to that. By the way, I'm gonna pause for a second. I just passed out a GM Fiat cards. I'm not using XP because this is a one shot. You're not gonna need XP, but I am using these asset cards. So I'm giving everybody asset. If you click on the green card above your name, that will give you some type of advantage in a situation. I don't know what card does what, but they're random. They may not come into play. They may. Worst case scenario, everybody can use one of these cards for a reroll whenever they want to use it for a reroll. You're just gonna take the card and drag it onto the screen.
I didn't get one, I guess, because I am who I am.
Yeah, I didn't get one either. But that's
you guys may have not hit the screen yet. I'm gonna go give you guys one. You'll have one before the end of the scene. But anyway, I wanted to say that while this big, I don't know why I wanted to just warn you, you had a reroll as this huge gentleman gets up and starts to menace you. Zim, baby, I didn't mean to think that it would be an issue, but he does, and he stares at you. In the meantime, you take your time to look over the area, but you find nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay.
Are you playing or are you leaving?
I'll just leave and I'll back down and go the other direction.
All right. You head off into the other direction. The camera turns and goes to where you are, Faust.
Faust follows after the woman as she walks away with the drink. And as she gets closer to wherever it is she's heading, in between that point, he will lean over to her and say, "Miss."
Yeah, yes. But did you want another drink?
I don't think you heard the nice lady over there. We're looking for the 3rd floor, and I think that if you know what is good for you, you will show us to where it is we need to be. Do we have an understanding?
Give me some type of fear roll or something. Let's see. Let's say the difficulty for this will be a 4.
Difficulty 4. And is there?
She looks scared. For the record, she looks scared. But when you say that, you can tell something's in her. It's more fearful of something else.
Can I? What does it mean to use effort? How does that work?
All right. So when you want to use effort, one, the mechanics are already in the system. When you use effort, what it's going to do is add 1. I'm sorry. It's going to lower the challenge rating by 1 automatically. It's going to spend 3 points from the pool that you're using first, and then it's going to spend 3 points from the pool you're using. So say you were using like a might check, or the skill had something to do with might. It'll take 3 points from that might, and it'll reduce the challenge rating by 1. Now it's only going to take 2 points from that might if you have an edge in might. So if you have an edge, it goes down to 2. It deducts only 2, and if you don't have edge, it deducts 3.
I see. Okay, I'm just gonna roll standard.
I guess are rolling really well today. I think you guys need to use effort. She is fearful, scared of something, but the fear you strike in her, the way you can hear her heart pulse, she's more fearful of you. Only the pit boss knows how to get to the other levels, and we have not seen him in some time, and we're worried because all the tables are now losing, and we don't know what this means.
Do you have access to this room? Can you show us to it?
She doesn't show you access, but she says on the 2nd floor there are 2 huge rooms. They linked, both doors linked to the exact same room, and that's where the pit boss usually resides. But you can't, the employees aren't allowed, or can't. Actually, we can't go in there physically. We aren't able to go in or see in there.
Two final questions. The next is, do you have the time?
Time? Why would you be worried about time here?
What time is it, miss?
There is no time here.
His nostrils kind of flare open for a moment. Oh, I forgot what the other question was I was going to ask. Very intimidating, Tim. Good job. Okay, I'm good.
All right.
I'll come back to it. We'll pause there. I'll come back to that last question.
All right. I kind of felt like I got what Shoana was doing. I have not figured out what Viola was doing. And then I'm going to circle right back around to you. Wait. Did I hear from Helena? I think I did. Viola, what are you doing?
Well, hearing what was going on, I'm seeing Vigo have a lot of excitement over there at the table. Because I heard what was going on with Faust, and he's still talking to the wonderful waitress. So I go over to see the excitement with Vigo and see what he's up to.
We go back, and you go walk over there, and as you're walking, the camera's gonna follow you over there slowly as Vigo is rolling again and again, and he has that impulsiveness in his eyes that you've seen before, as he's pushing coins ahead. Vigo, I'm going to need you to deduct 10 points. You lose 10 life. That's going to first come from your might, then that's going to come from your speed, and then that's going to come from your intellect, in that order.
Oh, I'm going to use from the pool, right?
You're going to deduct that from the pool.
Yeah, 10 life. Okay.
10 life.
And I had a pen here. I'm going to do it online afterwards. Okay.
Okay.
10 life, yeah. And I have to empty the might before I start on the speed.
See, if the might has to be empty before you start with the speed.
Yeah, okay. The might is empty.
As you approach him closer, the camera kind of looks towards you as you watch him. He's getting thinner and thinner as you're watching him. Like, he's sweating. He looks exhausted with every die roll. And when you get over there, that's when you see the coins that he's pushing in there, they all have his face on it. I mean, the coins he's pushing. But when you look at the other people, their coins have their faces on it, that they're winning. And even when they get his coins, they turn from his face into their face.
So I put my hand on his shoulder and like, Vig, buddy, I think we've done enough here. We may need to move away from the table for a minute.
Yeah, one more time. Relax. I got this. Yeah, not a problem.
So Vig, have you noticed that these coins have your face on them?
Yeah, ain't it cool? I'm a king.
You are, buddy. You really are. And I don't think this is a good thing. I think this is a bad thing.
To be a king? No, that's a good thing. Think of what I can do when I'm a king. That's cool.
How about we be a king over to the rest of the party?
Okay. I'm not convinced. I guess I'm not convinced anyway. Because I want to beat this game.
All right. Go ahead and give me another study check. Okay. This time, the challenge rating is going to be 3 again. It's going to be 3 on me this time.
Is this for me or for Vig?
This is for Vig. He's still gambling. He's still rolling. He's still into this. So go ahead and give me another check as you try to talk him out of making another bet.
I rolled a 14.
Hey, whoa, winner! Gain 5 of your mic back.
Yoo-hoo! Told you. Hey, you're my lucky charm. That's cool.
Okay. 2 of the people at the table kind of go over to you. A small little halfling and a gnome that have been hanging out quite well together. Give you a high five. Way to go! Way to turn that losing streak into a winning streak.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, Fig, we don't really know what time it is, and we have to be somewhere at midnight.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to get to the rest of the party. It's really cool that you're winning, and I'm glad you got 5 back.
Yeah.
This will make a great story for later when we start seeing of our exploits and how you left when you were doing good.
She has a quite good argument there. That's the problem. I'm coming with her just for the game's sake right now, because it's boring if I just stand there and playing and dying. So I come with her.
She pulls you to the side. Zim, you're still getting a good look at the information, but you're back on the other side. Show Iana, Helena, and Faust. That's 1, 2, 3. Faust, you're with the waitress. Helena, what are you doing?
I am kind of standing and watching everything go down. I'm just keeping an eye on everybody and kind of getting my bearings about the place, because this definitely seems very fishy to me. So as I'm watching, I decide to move over to where I've got some questions for the cocktail waitress. So I go over towards where Faust is and the cocktail waitress.
All right. You see he's over there, and she looks more scared now than she was before. And you know Faust. So you peruse over to the area. Mm-hmm. And find that he is menacing her as tears kind of flow from her eyes as she tries to point with her eyes towards the direction. She pretty much approaches at that point.
Okay. So I walk up and I say, "Hey, Faust, lay off. Shh, bring it down." And I look to the waitress and I say, I'm like, to Faust, I say, "Can't you see she's terrified?" And I look at the waitress and I ask, "Is there anything we can do to help you? Are you okay?"
We're just scared, like us, and I don't want to turn into one of the dealers. And I fear that if we can't find the pit boss, that something amiss something else is amiss.
Okay, and you haven't seen the pit boss for how long?
In quite a bit of time. It's been maybe hours, maybe days. It's hard to tell here.
All right. Is it dangerous for us to drink those drinks you give us?
No. They're just regular drinks. There's no danger. You're supposed to be enjoying yourself before you go.
Go
No
where?
one's gone in a while.
Where would we go?
You know
Can
how you got here.
Leave. Okay.
No, how you got here.
Oh, that's funny thing. No. We're not.
And then, as you're asking that question, camera pans back over to Joanna. As you're looking, you're at the roulette table, Joanna, and you overhear this conversation. Oh wow! I can't wait till it opens up for me. How'd you go? Oh, in my sleep. I apparently went to sleep and I never woke up. Oh, that's lame. How did I go? Oh, I was fighting this massive bear, wrestling with it. He had been taking food out of our backyard. But you know what? I would not let him take from my family's mouth. So I died fighting it. And you hear this animated conversation as we pan back over you having your encounter with Ray, and tears are flowing from her eyes as she says, before you go to your how did you you were dead. That's how you got here.
We do not die.
Okay. Well, that changes things. I'm sorry, were you talking to me?
Yes, that's what you asked. I mean, you wanted to know how you got that. You do remember. You're just here waiting for your afterlife to open up.
I think I need to go talk to my friends. Thank you.
Oh, not a problem. But if you see anybody, he's huge. His name is William King. Hey, boss, if you see anybody that looks like he's tall, 6 foot, he has caramel skin like I do, very very big, huge brown eyes, dresses very regally, please tell him to return. We're just all scared. Us people who haven't turned fully into, and she points and kind of looks at the dealers who are now, you can tell they kind of give this aura of unnaturalness to them. This almost black putrid smoke evaporates more or less from their skin with every movement. As they pass cards, the cards that they pass and that they place on the table lift up with a almost with a necromantic aura to them.
Thank you so much. We will definitely pass along your message. And I walk past. Oh, I'm sorry.
Not a problem. I have to go get more drinks. Have to go get more drinks. And then she sprints off up the stairs. I have to go see to the high rollers too. And she sprints off up these stairs to the left. And you see her like pretty much, because by this time you're all the way over here, and you're making your way back around to these stairs over here. I'm sorry, up here. I'm sorry. And that's where you meet her at. As you see a similar scene up at the top, Zim, where there are 3 tables, but all of them appear to be playing a very, very strong stakes game of poker at this point. The dealers up here are far more serious. But even looking at them, Zim, you've now noticed that they, if you can tell through a pair of undead eyes, they look concerned.
Okay. I think I will search around and again kind of see if I can see what might be problematic for them.
One of them notices you looking intently and asks, "Would you like to a seat at the table? Perhaps we can have some conversation, sir. You look like you could be a little bit of a high roller."
I'm gonna ask him what he's nervous about. What's got you uncomfortable?
Go ahead and give me an intellect roll or some type of social roll. I can't remember if you're not hideous, so you don't have a roll deduction from there. So that CR is going. I mean, the difficulty for that is going to be 5. Sir, I really can't tell you trade secrets, but if you gamble, perhaps if you sit at the table and gamble, perhaps I can share with you a good story, and that may help you out a little bit. I'll tell you what you want to know if you put some tokens down.
Okay, I will. I agree.
All right. The high rolling table starts off at 15. I take it that's okay with you. Go ahead and roll me a difficulty, intellect, anything you can do that has to do with gambling. The challenge rating for this is going to be 6 for the high roller
Okay.
table.
Gambling. I have knowledge skills and I have remembering trivia. I don't know.
Remembering trivia could be good. You perhaps there was a time where you've been listening to it and you remember this game a little bit. You remember exactly how to play it. You know the odds of this game. So that sounds like something that could help you out.
Okay.
Holy
That's
crap.
20.
Oh shit. So you roll a natural 20 at the table. You remember apparently a lot about this trip from that trivia game. It was the best line of trivia ever. As you get to the table, you understand everything that's going on about you. You understand what's happening and going on at the table. You understand, oh God, you're only going to, you'll fold on this, you'll pull on this. And you sit at the table for about 20 minutes as he tells you, well, as you know, we are here just making sure we entertain people before they pass on. And when he says that, he actually stops and says, but I like your face. I'll tell you the truth. And it almost is like he's talking to you, and he creates this bubble that no one else can see or hear at the table. The house is only here to steal a little bit out of everybody's afterlife before they go. But we're not doing that now. We're giving away afterlife because the pit boss has disappeared. And that has concerned us because we all started out as human employees who were indebted to the casino after losing too much. But after we die, then we become these things. But none of us knows what happens to those dealers who even lose this much.
So things are worse for you than they've ever been. Any ideas where I might start looking for the pit boss?
He's usually here on the floor, though he occasionally goes into the employee only area. He occasionally goes into his office, which are on the second floor. They are linked together through a teleportation spell. It looks like 2 offices, but it is only 1.
Got it. Thanks for your time. And I'm going to start
Wait,
kind of like,
you have to take your winnings.
thanks. Shovel them on in.
He takes your winnings at the high roller table. You also get a luck coin, and he flips the coin at you. A handout should have popped up on your screen.
Lucky coin.
Good luck. I hope you're able to have a wonderful afterlife. As he walks away. As he starts to deal up, the game has ended. And unless you want to play again, which we'll do off screen.
I know. I'm good.
Are you
I'm going to start seeing if I can figure out a way into that office.
All right. After some time, since Helena and Faust are already together, Zim, you easily find them. As I said, you leave that table, and that scene where the waitress is kind of scarily going away, that's with you leaving the table. You go down the stairway and you find Faust and you find Helena. It is at that time that Viola, you've been dragging Big O away from the table, despite the fact that he's won. You have finally just almost physically removed him from the table at this point. And you are now all back together again.
So, Faust and I found out something very interesting that I think it's important for us to know.
Does it have to do with death?
Yes. I think we might be dead.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a new one.
That's the message I'm getting, is supposedly, welcome to the afterlife.
That
Congratulations.
It
This
wasn't what I
sucks.
thought it was going to be.
That's concerning and problematic.
This is the afterlife? That's boring.
However, this is some sort of way station issue. It's like this is where the souls seem to be before they move on, but there's some blockage happening, mainly because they can't find their pit boss. He's supposed to make this thing run smoothly, but he's not here. He's disappeared. Nobody's seen him, and he seems to go into that office that apparently either door will take you to the same place.
Well, that sounds like fun.
Which door?
Either one. Poof.
Okay.
Same spot.
The ones in the first floor, or the ones?
The ones up on the second tier that seem guarded by the armor next to the employees only at that door. That's the one.
Okay. So I just lost the map. I was supposed to just move. I start moving that direction.
I love how impulsive you are. You start moving in that direction. As you're moving in that direction, you guys have another flashback. You go into this comatose phase, and you have this other flashback as you see Vigo hastily move into the other direction. This reminds you of something, and that's when the flashback happens, and you go, "Oh God!" Lightning bolts smashing walls, destroying doors. Half of the castle has fallen over as you guys have adventured through this entire 200-story building, managing to keep your lives keep yourself living, more or less. But you get to the top floor to defeat this destructive dragon, Norvos. This dragon had been destroying and attacking the countryside for so long. You had finally figured out not just how to find his lair, but how to defeat him. And just when you get to the final room, Faust charges into the room, and he's met with a bolt that slices through his heart, sending that heart smacking you right into the head, Viola. The bloody heart trickles down to the floor as Vigo slumps over. And then we're back at the casino.
We all got that flashback?
Everybody got that flashback.
Okay.
I would like to yell out no to Vigo. We're not doing that.
It's not a dragon.
It doesn't matter.
My problem is I'm impulsive and I'm looking for trouble.
You make your way to the door, and there are two guards now before the door. Make sure this is the right one. Yeah, you get to the door.
Can I follow?
You certainly can follow.
I also want to follow.
You get to the follow, and honestly, I don't necessarily do PvP kind of stuff, but you can attempt to stop him if you want with opposing roles. I will do that kind of stuff. Else, Vigo, you get to the door. You see these two large armored guards ahead of the door. This is only for employees. Do you have an appointment?
Yeah.
Excellent. Enjoy.
So I go in.
All right, you go in.
Not there.
The guards.
I guess it's there. I guess.
You walk into the door. Walk into the door, and both of the guards turn their eyes towards you, and say, "You do not have an appointment. That will be an infraction cost of 5 souls, as it deducts another 5 points from you. But you do manage to walk through the doorway."
Bad. Okay, and now my map froze. Oh no, maybe remove. Okay, change the map.
I'm going to go ahead and move you. I didn't change the map, but I did go ahead and move you inside of the room. I'm going to show you what happens inside of the room.
Yeah.
Who is following him into this room?
I am.
Yeah,
I would too.
follow.
Right. Sounds like everybody is.
Zim being the kind of I don't know. I'll let the meat shield be the meat shield. He goes
I'm the meat shield.
While Vigo is charging headlong into this situation, Vigo went the other way to the other door and told the guards, "Hey, it looks like there's some sort of commotion happening over there. Your friends might need some help," and attempts to slip past them.
All right, give me some type of deception roll for this. So you go down the other way. They all four follow Vigo in here. This is something that you remember. Oh God, we're following him into another dangerous thing that we're not prepared for. I'm going to go the opposite direction. You go in the opposite direction. The camera pans and you Pink Panther music playing in the background. Don't. And the two guards go ahead and give me a 9 check. Challenge rating 9 on trying to convince them otherwise. Challenge rating 3. I'm sorry, 3. I'm thinking of the roll. 3.
Like, oh, that's gonna be hard.
No, you're good. That's a DM trying to.
Like roll of 3. Let's do this. Oh yeah, 18.
You rolled a 9. You would have beat a 9. Damn, you would have really been a 9. That's pretty good. That's 18 is also pretty decent. So that gives you a little bit of oomph. The two guards They hover off of their feet. They don't even walk. And they easily move slowly to the main floor, leaving the door unguarded. Everybody who followed Vigo, you guys all lose 5 life as the armor person says you doesn't have an appointment, except for you, Zim, who have managed to get rid of the guards. Zim walks in after you guys, each one of you looking like parts of your soul has been ripped out of you, except for Zim, who looks like he just got off of a beach in Daytona. All right, I'm gonna move everybody down here. Can everybody see that part of the map now? Before I describe the room.
I do.
No.
Mhm.
Yep.
All right, who said no?
I can see it now. I said no.
All right. You walk into a room that looks like it's a small little treasury. Various treasure chests littered all about of it. A large, strange-looking grandfather clock sits in this corner over here. On the desk in front of you, various foods and money are spread about. But most importantly, slumped over the table is a dead corpse of a person that looks like parts of its body had been singed and burned. It looks like this, whatever was left of this charred being, was once human at one point. You can see from his darkened skin that he exists like the exact same person that was described. He has a very regal clothing on them if they were not mostly dust and ash, but you can still see the lapels and the things of such. And you could tell this person was someone who really was of some type of wealth because he has a beautiful diamond ring on him that looks more expensive than anything that you would have seen before. The room smells like something is decaying inside. There's an odor that feels like rotten eggs with meat that have been left out in the sun for many days.
Curious. I'm gonna make my way over to the clock.
I'll search the body.
I check in the chests.
Make your way over to the clock, and you find a clock that's set to 9 o'clock. It does not appear, it appears to be moving, but you see that as it moves very rapidly to 10, and then moves right back to 9. Then the camera looks at the person as you're looking at the chest, and these chests are filled with gold, by the way. I'm gonna go ahead and describe each thing, and I'm gonna ask you guys how you interact with them after I do the description of each scene. You go over here, you describe the chest, and the chests are filled with gold. This is more gold, more money than you've ever seen in your life, and they all have blank faces on them. Okay, that describes the chest,
Yeah.
and that describes the clock. What else is anyone searching?
I was going to search the body.
You go over and search the body. The very first thing that rings out to you as interesting. It's just the everything is charred and burned on his body, but this beautiful diamond ring that seems impervious to any damage. But it is not as much the body, or even the ring that body or the ring that is as important as the note at the hand of the note at the hand that wears the ring, with the pen still in his hand, faded down and nothing but looks like charred bone.
Can you put me back in the map because I got thrown out and then I'm back at the casino?
Not a problem.
Thank you.
Not a problem.
Yeah. Okay.
A note pops up. I'm sorry. The note is smeared with some forms of blood and ash, but for the most part, it's still intact. While those of you who are reading the note read the note, I'll go back over to describe the clock. The clock appears to be a very old, ancient grandfather clock made of a very sturdy wood that exists mostly only in the elven woodlands. It was crafted with care, but when you look at it, you don't hear any ticking or talking, though it appears to have a door on the front of it.
My initial impulse is to say to Viola, what time was that supposed to be that we were meeting?
Midnight.
I'm gonna reach out and grab hold of the hand of the clock and pull it backwards to midnight.
You grab a hold of the handle of the clock,
Yep.
and you smell sulfur coming from the clock. You feel heat and fire coming from the clock as you set it back. You hear a ding, and the door opens up, and a big metal container is now inside. Door opens up inside of the clock. The big metal container is inside with various buttons on them from 1 to 9.
Shall we go to floor 3?
Let's do it.
Sounds
I mean,
like
why
a
not?
plan.
We're already dead.
Yeah,
But
sure.
wait, so I do want to again warn all of you. How many layers of hell are there? And how many buttons are here? I guess 3rd layer it is. And he'll push the button.
Yep, I remember that story.
Moving over back to Ziggo. Ziggo, yes, he's told you that there's something inside with buttons on it, but you see all this gold. Do you take anything?
I'm thinking about it because I haven't read the note yet. My character hasn't read the note.
Yeah, I was gonna say your character hasn't read the note, which is why I
No.
moved on from it and asked.
Yeah, and
Give
From
me
my
a
point- from-
resistance check.
yeah, from my point of view, they owe me money. They cheated at dice.
Give me a challenge rating check.
I will.
The challenge rating to resist it. I'm sorry, you're trying to resist it, so the challenge rating to resist is a 4.
Ooh, okay.
But remember,
4.
now wait, I want to get into this. You have an inability. Your inability raises that challenge rating to a 5.
Oh, yay. And intellect. Okay, here we go. 5.
You
I think.
grab. They took 5 coins from you. You can take 5 more from them. You take 5 coins from them.
Yeah, of course I do. Of course.
Now the
They're
coins all have your face on it
mine. Cool. I'm still the king.
as you move your way into the box.
Also grab a sausage from the table because I feel peckish.
Oh my god. You grab the sausage from the table.
Yeah.
You're still peckish even though the smell of decay in here. Awesome. You
Hey.
grab the sausage and stuff it in your pocket. Hey, nothing's wrong with the sausage. It looks like it's freshly cooked.
Yeah.
I got no problem with it.
I'm
all right.
peckish.
You grab the sausage from and you head off. Now, as a GM intrusion, I'm just gonna say anybody who wants to have seen that happen can see that happen as he walks into the elevator.
And hard to notice me not eating that sausage.
I saw it happen.
I'm sure Zim would have noticed, but just kind of made a disgusted face. Yeah.
Viola saw it and did a face palm. Like, God.
I think Shahana just kind of nods, like, yeah, that's about right.
Helena saw it and she's very disturbed because she feels like she's worked a lot in kitchens and she knows that it's not okay for that to be in the state it's in, so she's worried about Vigo eating it. She does not want him to eat it.
That's garlic in it though. Tastes good.
He's already eating it.
Yeah.
What's
Love
it
it.
doing?
Like the entire thing is like,
talking
I've worked in kitchens, things can go bad. Yeah, but it has garlic. Like that's the selling point. It has garlic in it.
I don't think that's a good idea, Vigo.
Want some?
No, thank you.
More for me. More for me. Thank you.
Viola goes over to Helen and is like, just let it go. You know how he is. Just let it go.
He's gotta learn. Okay.
Basically, it's because I want some sausage which I have in my refrigerator with garlic in it, by the way. So.
Making me hungry. I'm at dinner. I'm like snipping up over here. All right, you guys move into the box together. Looking about the room, there doesn't appear to be anything else of interest in the room. Unless you guys want to give some final funeral rites or anything for Oliver. You guys move into the elevator. And tell me what button you push, because you are more than welcome to push whatever you wish.
And number 3.
Are you sure?
That's what the note says.
Yeah, but man, it's the note. You actually do hear this voice in your head. You don't know where it's coming from. You can push any number.
How many buttons are there?
9.
I think just 3.
Are we still feeling good about 3?
I'm good with 3.
What the note says.
Definitely want to do 3.
I think we're still sticking with 3.
All right, you push the button 3.
I really want to do the thing I did when I was a kid and just run my hand down all the buttons.
That's what I was thinking too.
That's what Vigo's entertained with sausage, so he doesn't see the button.
I was actually thinking the same thing. It's a good thing Vigo is like right now and can't be like, ooh.
I thought exactly because he would push all the buttons, but yeah.
When we switch to the next, after this act, I'll tell you that I actually do have things behind every button. Because my other party went to other floors. All right, you guys go into the elevator. It stops and it opens up, and it's opened up. There's a ding, and as you hear this opening up and this ding, you see a large card table in front of you, and you see 2 decks of cards. From these 2 decks of cards, in front of the table, you see another dealer. This dealer does not look like the dealer from before. This one looks like the person who's in charge. This tall-looking, almost magical, fayish creature of mouths is before you. He looks like a mask in his one hand, but the mask has an eye that keeps staring at you. His face is like one large mouth. His ears like that of a bat, flipping and flapping about. He has a cane, dressed in a very dapper outfit, but everything inside of him speaks monstrosity. It speaks devil, it speaks demon, it speaks every evil you've ever seen. Hello. So, you're here. If you've made it this far, it means that fate must think that you have earned the right to retrieve something. Which one of you has lost your soul? And all eyes point to you, Vigo. As the camera pans out and it shows the final flashback. There is no pictures for this one. You all remember it quite well. You took Vigo's body and you ran out of the tower. The dragon ended up killing far more people. You were not able to stop it because of Vigo's actions. But you wanted to still resurrect your friend. So what did you end up doing? You remembered that elven archmage, actually. And the rumors that he could help. He had once or twice brought people back from the dead. So you went to him and you asked him to perform the ritual on Vigo. And he told you it was not simple, that you would have to go into the bowels of the undead, the bowels of the afterlife itself, and win his soul back. And that's why you're here. Why we all are here right now. He asked which of you wishes to play for his soul. You all came in here living. When you leave, unless you've bet too much, you will leave with your souls. But he will remain here unless you win this game.
Why don't we play for yours? He says as he pulls out his gear and his mace-like weapon.
You pull out the weapon. Oh, this should be fun. Go ahead and take your attack.
He looks at everybody else for a second. It's the first time you've seen him second guess that pretty much ever.
Shauna just shakes their head like very slightly, like.
Yeah, but you're not alone after all. I'm standing beside you with my broadsword.
Yeah, I think Sim would
It's
have
my
that kind
soul.
of face palm, rubbing his forehead thing like, great, the second time today, like a meat shield is going to get us into some sort of trouble.
I love the meat shield comment, man.
Tell you what, I love a good sparring. But I have to follow the rules of the casino like everyone else. You must play the game, and then if you don't win, I'll fight you.
Oh, I already rolled. That's okay though.
Oh, wait, no. I'm sorry, I didn't see the roll. Missed the roll. Challenge rating is 9 on this.
Oh, okay.
Do you have anything else that can lower it?
I do have. I can spend my effort.
You can spend 1 effort.
Yep.
That's going to.
And I have edge 2 in might.
Edge 2 is not going to work. You can only spend one effort at level 1.
Yep.
The challenge rating for him is 9. You aren't going to be able to hit him without some really clever abilities and skills. You do go to hit him, and you swing back with your axe. He doesn't even look like he dodges. He kind of just turns his head. Tell you what, you come back when you've grown up, and we'll fight for real. I thought you were better than that. And then he attacks you. His claw swings. Hold on for a minute. Gotta pull up his sheet.
Oh, crap.
His taloned hand swings back, fear smashing over his fear, permeating more or less, exuding from his entire face. He goes to swing. Challenge rating 7. Speed roll
For me?
for you.
Mhm.
That too does not beat it. As he slams his hands into you, he grabs parts of your skin and rips them out so that your rib cage is exposed. Take 7 points of damage.
So I only take 4 with 3 armor, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Well, that was fun. And he takes what's skin left on your rib cage and puts it into his mouth and begins to eat it. This is good.
It's
I
a
don't know
big
what
flesh
was
wound.
worse.
Oh.
Vigo with the sausage or you with that?
It's weird too, folks. You don't really feel a lot of pain despite hearing, and everyone hears the tearing of skin as he rips open. And then he eats it. Oh wow, we have more material for sausage now. I should save it.
You'll need more
Yeah.
garlic.
Yes, more garlic. Yeah.
Now, if we are finished, I'm sorry, but do come back. I like your vigor. I really would think that with some more training, you would be an interesting minion. But we are here, and there is a deck of cards here. If you choose 4 out of the 5 cards, let's give you the benefit of the doubt. If you do 4 out of the 5 cards that I have already chosen from this deck, then you and all your friends are free to go back to your living lives. If fate says you are supposed to leave, then you have already encountered clues to what these 5 cards are.
So we need someone to play.
The ring, the ring, the ring, the ring.
Coin.
Perhaps Vigo should.
3
try.
of hearts, maybe. Maybe. The lucky coin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of clubs.
5 of clubs, 3 of diamonds.
5 of the. 5. No, 6 of clubs on the
3 of diamonds.
on,
Right.
on the coin.
9 of spades.
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
Oh,
Did we
barrel
already
of clubs.
see
Oh,
that?
5 of clubs there. Yeah, and
Yeah.
lucky
five of
coin.
clubs,
5 of clubs, 3 diamonds.
Where are you guys
and
seeing?
9 of spades.
All the things that we saw coming in.
On the lucky coin, there are 6 clubs, but we had a barrel of clubs that were 5 clubs.
Mm-hmm. And then
5
the
and 6 of
clock.
clubs then.
The hand of the clock is a spade pointing at
Nine
a
of
9.
spade.
Looks
Right,
like
9 of spades.
Yeah.
hmm
And triple diamond ring, that's 3 of hearts.
3
I
diamonds.
guess.
hmm
Yeah, 3 of diamonds. Yeah, 3 of diamonds, of course. Sorry, I thought about it in Norwegian now. So, yeah.
because they were red.
Yeah, basically. I didn't think about diamonds. We don't call them diamonds in Norway, so.
Right.
So
How many cards have we guessed?
1, 2,
2,
3,
3,
4.
4.
4.
Did we get 3 of diamonds? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's 4.
I think one of them has to do with Queenie Jones, but I don't know what. Or it could be a red herring.
Yeah, but queen. But which card?
Queen
which
of
suit? Which suit?
The only suit we haven't talked about is hearts.
Yeah.
And it seemed like she had a very close connection.
Yeah, she has a good heart.
Mhm.
She has the pink drinks as well, right?
Yeah.
Mhm, they have the pink
Queen of
thing.
Hearts.
So let's go for that. I like that. I like
Yeah, that was a nice one. I don't care if it's wrong.
Plus, it was
It's
a great
nice one.
song.
Yeah.
So you go into the deck and you pull out the 6 of clubs. You pull out and there's a ding. You pull out the 9 of spades and there's a ding. You pull out the 5 of clubs and there's a ding. You pull out the 3 of diamonds and there's a ding. You pull out the Queen of hearts and there's a smash. Each of you takes 3 damage as you feel your
Sorry, y'all.
That is wrong. Would you care to make another roll? Though I can help you out by saying the 5th card is not a queen.
We only needed 4 or 5, right?
You did, but you still got one wrong. And I'll still give you one more guess at it, just for free, because you may need the item that I have if you guess all 5 for the next chapter of your life.
I think perhaps the Queen of Clubs is a better option. She is carrying a wooden staff.
Let me roll this back. The other card is not a queen.
Not a
Oh,
queen.
I'm so sorry.
Would I be able to do my remembering trivia skill?
Sure can. Go ahead. And I want to I'm gonna interrupt her too. So whenever I run my games even my puzzles and stuff, you are always welcome to use your character's abilities and skills for hints and things. So that's what you're doing right now. Go ahead and give me a roll. The CR for it is 4.
4.
4.
Okay.
I almost said 5. I'll say 4.
4. Okay. Finding objects, remembering trivia. There we go.
Yeah, because you've gambled before, so it's 4. Wow, but you smash it out the park again. And you remember, does anybody here, and I'm going to say real life, does anybody here play actual cards or anything?
I do.
All right. Have you ever heard of certain
18.
Have you ever heard of certain nicknames for cards? For kings?
Like
Suicide King, for
Yeah.
example.
Suicide King, one-eye jack.
Right.
Which,
Bill-
of course,
Ah.
the guy's name. This is where I would point out that the guy's name, who was in the office and cast a spell to get himself out of there.
William
His
King.
last name is William King. So,
Yeah. So it's a
He was king of
king.
He was a king of a club.
and by the way, the nickname for the Suicide King is the
The-
King of Hearts.
Yeah, it's the King of Hearts.
Ooh, I didn't know that.
Oh.
But yeah, because of the knife.
Yeah, he's got the sword
Yeah,
in his head.
yeah,
in
yeah.
the original card.
Yeah.
Setup.
And that's the King of Hearts.
It's King of Hearts.
You pull out the King of Hearts. You pull out the King
Yeah.
of Hearts and
Yeah.
play it to the table, and your entire world starts to fade away. That never happens. And he looks to you, though, False. You will come back, though, please, will you? I have such plans for you. Such plans. As your vision and everything starts to fade away, and you find yourself smelling the sound, smelling that after battle where you killed a bunch of creatures and it just is putrid behind you because they're starting to fade away, their skin is starting to rot. You're starting to smell that as you fade away, and he says, so I have to bring him back at the point of which he died. I hope you don't die again in the same way. He hands you a gift as you're fading. Which one of you may want it, you can decide. But he hands you a bag. This bag can catch dragon's breath. Little
We might want to
video.
give it. We might want to give it to Vigo, since he's been catching dragon's breath before anyway.
It wasn't I who did it though. Wasn't it Faust?
No, when you caught the dragon's breath
Yeah, I
apparently
caught it.
before this.
Yeah, I didn't remember that. Sorry, it was me.
All right.
Okay, I grabbed the bag because after all.
All right, so you guys are almost ghosts, almost silhouetted, almost very translucent. As you fade away and you fade your way, and when you're smelling that other place, you realize he's brought you back in time to the place where it all began. the place where just before Faust is about to die, just before he's about to fade away. I'm sorry, before he's about to burst in. And this time, Viola, once again, you decide to immediately grab Faust beforehand.
Faust or Vigo?
I'm sorry, Vigo. I keep calling him Faust. Sorry, Vigo. You grab Vigo beforehand. You make sure Vigo does not move a step into the room before you can figure out a plan. And that's where you are. You start off now. You're back at the tower. You guys have traveled up 200 floors. And these weren't like regular floors. Each one of these floors was almost like 10 floors in themselves. You are sailing far beyond the clouds. You have to really fight to get to this dragon. And you know that if you don't defeat this dragon this time, hundreds of thousands of people are going to die. He's going to destroy towns. He's going to destroy cities because you have lived that future already. And there is no going back. You're not going to be able to go back to the afterlife.
Vigo, buddy.
Yeah.
We gotta do a plan. I don't want your heart in my face this time. So.
But Vigo remembers this, and he remembers it. It's okay. And I'm starting to count my coins, because after all, I have some coins, I guess. He's quite an easy guy, actually. Here we go. Poor man.
Yes, you still have the coins on your body.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to switch battle maps, but I'm going to explain kind of what's going to happen, what's happening before, while I get the combat started. So starting off at Act 2, you guys kind of completed out Act 2. It's all a circular kind of story so that it can get you to a point that is very important, a point that can change everything. So in Act 2, we kind of put the stakes up of what the third act is, which is just going to be this one combat. You guys know what's at stake. You know that, you know, if you don't defeat the dragon, Faust will probably die again, and there's going to be lots of other people who are going to die as well. But you got a little bit more understanding, you got a little bit more knowledge, both as a player of the system and as characters in the game. So we are going to switch to this second act. I'm going to go ahead and get your initiative going on.
Question: Are our hit points full now?
No, your hit points are exactly where they were.
Oh, crap.
Okay. All right, let's pop everybody on the character sheet.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and describe the scene because there's a pre-battle and there's an after-battle. And if we had another 2 hours of gaming, I would go through how you guys sneak into the dragon's den this time. And you awaken the dragon. I'm sorry, you don't awaken the dragon, but you sneak into the dragon's den. And you set a series of bombs all around this ancient dragon. And you get out of the room. But just as you get out of the room, you look back. And damn, it'd be stupid to leave that sweet, sweet Vorpal sword behind. So you tiptoe back in just to grab it this one last time, but you forget the bombing. And those bombs all go off at the same time, and the rest of you go in. God darn it, Vigo, not again! As the entire top of the tower explodes in stone, and you find yourself plunging to the ground. The dragon is awake. He's damaged enough, maybe for you to actually physically attack him this time, but he's not dead. And you find yourself falling to the ground, attempting to kill this dragon before you die yourselves. And we're going to start off combat. So the way this combat is going to work is there's going to be some rules to it. You see these square grids out here? Each one of these grids is, if you want on your turn, you can move to a grid. You can move to a grid, and then you can attack. Your attack is modified if you are on a grid. Ooh, that was a mistake. If you are if you're on a grid with an asteroid on it. But rubble. This rubble is rocks that are falling from the tower. If you're on a grid with a rock on it, so you can move and then you can attack on your turn. If you're on a grid with a rock on it, when you attack with a melee weapon, you can attack with a melee weapon. That attack with the melee weapon is going to allow you. You're going to be able to attack with a melee weapon. So you can only attack with a melee weapon if you start off on a rock. Pretty much, you're starting off on a piece of rubble and you're launching yourself onto the dragon. That's gonna keep you in the dragon space. If you want to go back, like leap from the dragon back to the rock or back to another space, then let me know, and the challenge rating will be more difficult. Does everybody understand that?
Yep.
All right. If you are using a ranged weapon, the challenge rating is reduced by 2 if you are on a rock.
Do I have the sword?
You got the sword.
I have to ask. I have to ask.
And your Vorpal sword is going to deal an additional.
Cool.
Your Vorpal sword, you grab the sword, this light sword, this sword more or less that illuminates in like dark lightning. Dark lightning, but dark light. It looks like a big old giant black light attached to this metal, very shimmering obsidian helm. But it looks shiny and it looks really, really good. And you also have the Dragon's Breath. The way the Dragon's Breath bag works is you can, if it's aimed at you, you can catch that Dragon's Breath if you are a target of it, once per turn. But only the breath that affects you. That will make sense later. You guys are falling down the tower. You now are plunging to your death. And I'm pretty sure everybody's thinking at this point, boy, that Vigo. We are going to ironically start with Vigo. You guys are
Since he has the sword and the bag, if anybody is close to him, you could just sort of push him out in front. That's cool. That's cool.
Which I think is kind of what happened. Is you guys like, yeah, you go first. You guys are flying around. It's raining all around. Lightning is striking everywhere. And you guys know this is a lightning dragon. Vigo, your go. What do you do?
The problem is you don't have to push me. After all, I'm impulsive, and I'm looking for trouble. Well, I'll try to jump on the dragon with the sword and hit him.
All right, you take one of those leaps with it. Go ahead. The challenge rating for the dragon, just FYI, until I say otherwise, is going to be a 6.
Okay, this is gonna hurt. Okay, might. I have an edge, but okay, I can save that one. What did I get?
Oh, you rolled a 1!
Of course I rolled a 1.
The very
of
first
course
thing you
I
rolled a
1.
As you roll the 1 and you go to stab on the dragon takes its claw and smacks the sword out. The Vorpal sword flies off into the night, and you're now on the square with the dragon.
Yeah.
No.
Faust, your go.
I'm gonna get the coat.
I take off. My character, for his range weapon, you all would know he has a 2 meat hooks that are held together by a chain, and so he's going to fling one of the meat hooks at the dragon, with the chain attached to it, holding onto the other end of the other meat hook as he does so. So I'm going to try to do a ranged attack that way.
All right, that's going to lower the challenge rating by 2, so it's going to make it a 4 for you. All right. God, like they've seen so many times, it goes and it just hits the creature right in its eye, making a gouge right where its pupil is, and small drops of splurts of blue blood just sprays over several of the pieces of the rubble that crashes, that starts to fall lower, heavier more or less than some of the others. That is going to take how much damage from him? 4 damage. All right, and that's gonna have to hit his armor. All right. Now the dragon goes. Everybody give me a speed roll.
Okay, sounds good.
Do we want this?
What difficulty? Sorry.
I'm sorry. Speed roll difficulty 5. I'm difficulty 6. Sorry, 6.
Oh
Difficulty
god,
6.
I should reroll it then. Okay.
Speed roll.
There we go. That's more like it.
All right.
7. Yeah, it's better.
Everybody who misses it takes 3 points of lightning damage as lightning. I'm sorry. Each one of the 5 heads. So it's gonna miss somebody. Let's see who it misses. It's going to miss you, Viola. So Viola, even if you made it, you don't take damage from this. Everybody else takes damage from this. Each one of the heads deals 3 points of damage.
I have the bag.
You catch your damage, but you get swiped by his tail as he grabs his tail and takes a big chunk out of your arm because you're in his square. You take 5 additional. I'm sorry, you would take 5 points of damage. So that's what you find out. If you're in his square, he'll get melee attacks on you as well, as he scratches and claws against you, eating
Now
your
he tells
flesh.
me. Now he tells me. Oh crap! Yeah, I still got some points left though.
Zim, your go. I can't hear you, Zim. I think you may be muted.
Zim's taking
Can
his
I
action.
cast like a resonance field?
Give me a quick synopsis of what it does.
Basically, faint lights that light cover your body. It lasts for a minute, and if it makes a creature makes a attack against you within immediate range, it will defend you. And if it get to roll with my intellect for defense instead of speed, and if I get like a minor effect, it takes a point of damage, and if I get a major effect, it takes 4 points of damage.
All right. Yeah. No, that's not an action. That's just That's just a spell, right?
Yeah.
All right. So you just cast off that spell that easy, and that's gonna actually, because the creature is really flying around you, and even though I have him in squares, he's flying around you. He's swirling around you. I'm gonna say that all those lightning attacks are gonna be immediate attacks for that. That's the purpose of that spell, if that works for you.
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
So you go off and cast that spell. Viola, your go.
I want to do enthrall the
All right.
dragon. I tell them this long story about how this dragon is so mighty, but inevitably it comes to its doom, and
All right, so you're yelling over the thunder, yelling over the lightning crackles and the screaming of as people are being rendered from flesh. But you're telling the story. You're keeping your composure. That's going to be a challenge rating 6.
okay. Even with the distance.
Even with the distance, because I'm kind of playing around a little bit with distance there, so it should be okay with the distance. He still hears you over it for now.
Okay.
It does not work. He is not affected by your story. He creates story. He is the dungeon master, not you. Shawana, your go.
Okay. I think Shauna clambers onto a rock, gets out the flintlock pistol, and lines up the shot. It's a 5 challenge. Is that right?
It's gonna be a 6 challenge.
6.
Yeah, 6, still 6.
Okay. And if I were to use effort, which pool would that use?
For effort's gonna come from your speed pool for a ranged weapon.
Okay. I would like to put 1 effort into it then, if that's okay.
That works good. All right, you fire off a shot, but it also misses, going wide right, pretty much just into the sky. Helena, you're next.
Okay.
Elena?
Sorry, I had to unmute. So, what I would like to do is, I would like to use illuminating touch to light up an arrow to shoot. Is it kind of smoky and dark and hard to see in there?
Yeah, you get these flashes of light because you're falling from the sky. So it's dark outside. It's heavily cloudy. But lightning strike is the only light that's actually permeating. So you can go ahead and use that as that. You light up one of your arrows, and that's going to do a little bit more damage to it. That's going to add a little bit more damage on. It's going to add about 4 more damage on. So go ahead and make you a ranged touch attack with this lit arrow.
Okay, so I would use crossbow, or would I use illuminating?
Crossbow. I'll use crossbow.
Okay.
Because the illuminating spell is just going to be cast as you're spelling it. You cast it on an object you already own, so you should be able to cast it easy.
All right, and then is it still difficulty 6?
It's still difficulty 6.
Okay.
Holy crap! You hit a max nat 20. So what happens is with certain rolls in here that I have pre-programmed is that you send the arrow and it just doesn't light with light. It lights with fire, and in one swoop you behead one of the heads on this multi-headed lightning dragon that is firing off shots everywhere. One of the heads plunges to the ground. That's going to knock the CR now down another 2. So now the CR is 4 for all future rolls, and he takes a crap ton of damage from it.
Yoo-hoo.
Top of the round, something happens.
Ooh. Ooh.
The rocks that you're on begin to fall from your feet. They break away. They aren't able to this altitude. They are capable to maintain their composure at this altitude. And other rocks appear lower to where you are. You're able to grab onto them. And remember, you guys are free falling. So those who lost rocks, you're now free falling into the sky. But you do see other rocks around, and you can move over there or stay where you are. We're going to start with you, Vigo. You are in the square that the dragon is on.
Mm-hmm.
Its
Yeah.
tail is whamming around again for another strike at you.
I have a broadsword. I think a crossbow might be kind of hard now. So yeah, broadsword.
All right, you take out your broadsword. You crawl your way, holding onto his scale and make an attack.
I will.
All right.
Give me a second. 6 and might. 17.
Wow, you hit. That is your broadsword. Actually, should do. Go ahead and hit. Well, I got you.
Mhm.
That is going to be from there, and you get an extra point of damage on that.
Yeah, because of
So
edge.
that should do another this much damage. You slice into it. Now that you see how weakened it gets from one head, and I said it was a CR5. Remember, the difficulty for this creature now is 4 because he's lost the head. You're trying to now stab and cut away and saw off one of those other heads right now. Faust, your go.
All right. So I do have a question for you. And as far as inventory goes, one of my skills that I have is mixing sleep elixirs. Can it be assumed that I might have one of those, or that
Why would you not? Why would you go up here without it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. So I'm going to try to chuck one of these sleep elixirs into the dragon's mouth.
All right, go ahead and give me a ranged attack. Just roll whatever ranged attack is, and we'll say the effect is this elixir.
Okay.
All right, you chuck it. Great roll. You chuck it just as it's trying to take a bite. One of the heads is trying to take a bite out of Vigo. You get it perfect. It takes it, and it immediately just droops down. It looks like it's weighing down the rest. Like, it's like having a limp arm when it goes to sleep. So the dragon now is moving a little bit slower than what it does. And you're realizing that, wow, melee attacks feel like they're going to deal another two more damage in addition to whatever rolls now, because he's not able to make reactions like that. He's also going to be affected by trying to dodge your own attacks, which he's going to try to make right now. And everybody but Vigo is going to take lightning damage as long as he has the bag. Everybody but Vigo takes lightning damage. So everybody's going to need to make a speed roll.
Sorry, guys.
Except I get to make it for intelligence
Oh
because of my
no.
spell. What's the difficulty?
The difficulty is 4. Oh, wait, no. Actually, because of that sleep spell, it's 3 now. And so don't need for a reroll. You actually pass Faust. You pass Viola. You do not pass Elena. You do pass. And what's her name? Shauna. You do pass. Even though you are a little impaired right now, I'm not going to do the damage stuff right now. You take 3 lightning damage. Helena.
Okay.
And we're going to move on to Zim. Actually, no. Vigo's still in his space. So, Vigo, you're going to have to make a speed roll check for your defense, as the tail is now trying to hit you and try to pretty much grab you again so it can take a chunk out of you. So that's going to be a difficulty class 3.
Yeah. And speed coming up. 11.
All right, you crawl on the other side as the tail comes over. You've kind of seen this maneuver before.
Yeah.
Zim, it's your go.
Okay, I guess I will. I'll shoot him. I've got a hand crossbow.
All right, the CR is 3 now. He's really falling down. It doesn't look like he has a lot more. The creature left a lot more left.
Missed.
Oh, but you miss. That's going to give him a little chance to gain his regeneration to kick in. Viola, your go. All right, success. You barely a hit with the crossbow, reinforcing the wound. You now see that Vigo is trying to saw off one of the heads as you bolt a crossbow into it, and that is going to do that. Another 4 damage with the other stuff. Shauna, your go.
Going with another shot at the pistol, I think. Or do I need to be on the rocks to do that?
To make a ranged attack, the CR will be increased if you're not on a rock.
Okay, I'd like to move then.
All right, where are you? You can move only 1 square at a time, so go ahead and move to. All right, you leap, try to free fall over where another rock is. You grab onto that other rock, and with the other hand, you take your crossbow and you make your attack.
Excellent.
All right, that does hit again. Wow, that's a crap ton of damage. And plus, since one of the heads is asleep and he can't dodge, that's going to deal another 4 damage to it. And another head falls. Another head, more or less, is cracked. You hear your crossbow bolt hit the bone of another one. The neck snaps and it lips dead. The third head has now fallen. Now there are only 2 more heads on this creature, and the CR is reduced to 2. Helena, your go.
Okay, so difficulty is 2 now? Am I hearing
Difficulty
you?
is 2.
Okay. So I would like to, can I use my broadsword? Can I get close and use my broadsword?
Let's see. Are you on a rock? Can you leap yourself
I'm
off?
not on a rock. So
If you don't start off on a rock, you won't be able to. Well, you know what? The CR is going to be a little harder, but yes, you're able to do it. You're going to free fall through here, pull out your broadsword, and go ahead and give me attack, but the CR for it is going to be 4 instead of 2.
Okay, so let me do that. All right, I pull out my broadsword as I'm falling through the air and I'm hurtling towards it and I make a swing.
Holy shit. Wow, you roll an 18. You do 2 additional damage on it. You pretty much do exactly that. You land more or less right next to Vigo as he's moved on to another head and began sawing that off as well. So you guys are right together, but you've plunged his sword to give it that slightly other edge, and that head falls off as well. You are 2 heads up on the count. And Vigo, end of the round, the rocks are going to go ahead and move again. But Vigo, that's not going to stop you. Vigo, go ahead and give me. Tell me what you're doing.
Difficulty 2 or 3?
Difficulty is 2.
2, okay. Rolling for might. 11.
Holy crap! You hit, and your broadsword does another 6 damage. Plus, with the sleeping potion, it's already in his system. He cannot. Oh, that was actually you.
I killed Helena. No, okay. Sorry. Sorry.
I just dealt you 15 damage. Let's deal him the 15 damage. You.
Fine, feel okay.
You can't even believe you killed something because last time he killed you, but you plunged the other sword in there as she has her sword in there. So both of you are standing on top of him together, sawing off the last of the heads. The creature's head falls down. The rest of the body falls down. You leap from that body onto another piece of rubble as you guys free fall on the piece of rubble to the ground, but you manage to maneuver your fall so that you land on its corpse. All the squishy, gooey guts of the dragon that has fallen now on the plane breaks your fall as you land right into a spleen, a liver, a kidney, but it all breaks your fall. You take a crap ton of damage. We're at the end of the campaign, so you don't have to worry about taking it, but you all pretty much have 1 intellect left after this fall. You've fallen about 200 feet. You have broken bones. You are hurt. You are in pain. But you have.
Can I, for flavor purposes, just because my character has been this way this whole round? So as we're approaching the ground, can I cast? Can I use an intellect point and cast Far Step and basically teleport myself into an open window?
Yes, you can. And I like the idea of that scene I just described, if I may. You walking out of the tower, whistling, as they're all like broken and like Vigo's arm is barely hanging on. You're just.
How you doing, fellas?
Holy crap!
I feel like I want to use my control of the field ability to be able to like do a minimum amount of damage to myself, so I can move right before I hit, so I can just move myself 5 feet above, so I just fall 5 feet. Like,
Go ahead and do that. I think you take way less damage like that too. So you get up, you're pretty good. Is everyone else? Is there anyone else that wants to do anything cool to minimize this damage? Because Vigo, you can't. You're pretty much just gonna take it.
Oh yeah. I'm not even trying, man.
we
Well
go land on
deserved, well
his sausages. Like, sausage fishing.
You guys, the two, the great thing is Zim is just completely in hell. False, you're a lot better. Vigo, you are a mess right now. Shauna, you're pretty decent but hurting. Viola, you're pretty decent but hurting. Helena, we're on the dragon, so you got a lot of the brunt of it. You have the same injuries that Vigo does, so you're gonna have a little bit of recovery. So we're gonna have the camera fade out a little bit. As you guys have finally beat this dragon, you saved this town. Your reputation stands firm. Your reputation stands firm. And we fade away. And then we come back a few years later. Your injuries have healed. You guys are all in a tavern doing very well. You've gotten some more gold and money. And then one of the dealers walks into the tavern and approaches you. He puts his hand on Vigo's shoulder. Your time is up. It's time to go to work. And then you see black smoke surrounding Vigo and those 10 coins that he stole on the table. And we end the campaign or the adventure there.
Hey, at least I got to work, man. It's a living.
Good job.
Good job.
Thank
In
you
this
so
job
much.
market,
Yeah,
that's got to
that's
be
a lot of
pretty
fun.
good, right?
Oh
Hey,
yeah.
that was great. I love your style, and I love this music. It's rad.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, let me cut the music off. I forgot it can't
I like
be.
it.
I actually saved the picture of the main bad guy because I'm gonna use it myself.
Oh, you should. I love that.
That's
I've been using that for a long time. It's just creepy, and I like creepy.
It's creepy.
I
And I play
creepy.
Warhammer, so I'm gonna use him in Warhammer as.
Oh, I
one of
love
the
it. My
providers,
my
yeah.
wife paints Warhammer. We play miniatures, but we usually play God, what is it? Deadlands. That's what we normally
Deadlands,
play.
yeah. Oh, I love
Oh
Deadlands.
my God, I love
Deadlands. Oh, that's a good game, man.
Oh, it's so much fun.
I
Do
love
you play classic or do you play the new version?
I play classic because I'm old. I would say because I'm old. I play classic. Everything B is
kidding me?
classic.
You kidding
This
me?
was
Right
this
here.
was a fun session.
Holy
Oh,
shit!
yeah!
Oh wow! I see. Yes, I have. That is what we play. I have a huge wargaming table right where this camera is sitting.
I've got a stack of books like this for Deadlands sitting on my bookshelf.
I
Classic.
should say, well, even though we don't have that on there, I should show you my wargaming table. Right now, we have a very large board game on there, but when we do, we play on this huge table.
Nice.
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 That's
Yeah,
way
we're
cool.
playing this. If you're like Euro game, it actually has Euro games with a lot of little war elements. Anarchy and Anachronie, which is a time travel game, and literally this is just a 2-player game setup, and it takes up a 6x4 foot table. It is huge. I
Awesome.
want to go over some story points too. I want to end up and wrap up Act 3. I always feel like when you finish, and this is not everybody, but I'm classic D&D, right? I feel like everything should end with a dragon fight. I feel like if you're not playing Dungeons and Dragons, and even though it's a different system, for me it's always Dungeons and Dragons. I always want to end with a good, strong dragon fight, and I thought this was really pretty cool. But some things that I really thought was good is that how the story came out, and I think when you're GMing, you want to take off those player stories and really make that a part of the combat. You want to make combat feel personal. That's my thing. Like I want it to be personal. You guys know this person killed your friend. Now you want to, yes, he's going to kill a bunch of people that you don't know, and you may be heroes and want to save those people. But when it's more personal, just like when you watch TV and movies, that's what gets the character integrated into the story. Like, oh wow, this is deep now. Now I really have to get it there, and I really have to do that. So I am going to. That was what I wanted to walk away from Act 3, with just seeing how you wrap up or you end a segment, and it was kind of interesting because you guys got it down to 14, and I could count the math and say, oh God, Vigo's going to do the last one. So when you are a GM and you see that, make it good. Even if he only dealt one less, very honest GM tip, make it one more, because it's way more interesting if Vigo deals it, since it's one who killed him. I thought, wow, that lined up very well, and it lined up very perfectly too. He dealt a little more than what he needed to deal in damage, which was pretty good. The combat felt, at least when it was designed, it felt overwhelming at first. It should feel overwhelming because you want the party to feel like they're gonna die, which they should be. Like, you should be at the point where you think you're gonna die. And I didn't think you guys were gonna hit for a minute, and then she hit the nat 20, and that turned the tide because that activated a whole bunch of stuff in battle. So I'm glad you guys all had a good time. I want to open up the floor for any questions about the game, my style, the system, anything. I'm here.
I
So-
haven't had. Sorry.
No, you go ahead. It's fine.
I'm done much already today. I didn't have time to learn the system before we played, but I have to buy the books now. I understand that now, so I stand corrected. And I don't play D&D, but I have to learn that as well. But yeah, but this was a fun system. It was easy.
I'm glad you
It
guys
was
got
easy.
it.
Yeah.
And you're always welcome with systems. Like I use parts of Cypher and D&D. I use parts of D&D and Cypher. If you find a mechanic that's like, oh, that's kind of cool, like GM intrusion, I use that in D&D. Like, oh, I'm gonna give you something, and I wanted you to go this way. I'm glad you like the system.
Yeah. It was
Oh.
easy even for me. I did, as I said, I sent my role to you a couple of hours ago, so haven't learned anything of the system, but it's easy to get into and learn. So yeah,
we had a person who'd never done any system other than 5th edition, and she made a character an hour before I did the test session, and she said like the same thing. Like, you really, I mean, like, you use the abilities you want to use. Most of the mechanics are the same, so it's a very good system if you're trying to get things started really quickly. I think I'm glad you enjoyed it. I thought this would be really good for a 2 or 3 hour session.
yeah, it's open. It's quite open.
Thanks. Folks, you had a question too.
Sorry.
Oh, I think actually Viola was ahead of me, right? Or Viola.
I'm missing somebody.
No, I'm gonna
sorry.
call you by your character name. No problem.
Let me click my.
Okay, that's what's on the
Go,
screen
Nikki.
right now.
Go, Nikki.
How much? Because it seemed as a character, it was pretty easy. Like as a player, to pick it up and to make the characters. Once I figured out, I was making it more difficult in my head than it really was. So how much is it different to GM for this system than like say D&D or Kids on Bikes or something like that?
For me, this is the easiest system that I've ever had to GM for. And that's not me using, like, I don't like to use those kinds of things, but when I think about it, it is. I like, my notes for this is a couple of pages of story points and story beats and what creatures are going to be fight. I think I could tell you the things that are easy. One, monster creation. I don't have to pour through monster books for it. I don't need to know monster stats. I don't have to worry about balance. The game system balances itself out. Every combat needs the combined amount of points. If you want a medium combat, 35 points. If you want a slightly hard combat, their HP needs to be 45 points. And then if you want something difficult, 60 points. So it actually gives you that stat per tier, which makes it easy, because then I can just say, there are 5 skeletons. I don't need to know, and then give them some cool ability. On their attack, they give you fear, or they give you a poison. And I can define that as, okay, that messes you up, and now the challenge rating is higher for that because you have poison running through your system. So it makes monster creation easy, and that's usually the hardest part, longest part, is creating the encounters. Also, with me not knowing that I don't have to make rolls, I can concentrate on taking the things you've told me as your character and putting them more into the game, as opposed to, like, during combat, I don't have to worry about, oh, this guy has this one. I just go, I don't have to worry about rolling. I just need to worry about where other things are. Like, I can use the environment. Like, I wrote a version I thought was way too deadly, where lightning was striking you guys as you were going through, and that was like a TPK. We actually played this encounter 2 times, and I rolled back and said, no, we can't do it with the lightning. But that's what makes it fun, is that I can play with the environment.
Very cool.
Cool.
Yeah, I liked your use of flashbacks a lot. I think I like your style as a DM. I like that it's much more cinematic. Using the camera is a trick that I've used in the past. It's a great way to really put the focus on where it needs to be at the time and give each person a chance to shine. I think you did a good job of doing that throughout this game, moving the spotlight around. It was a good execution of that and a good mechanism to use for that. And actually, using the camera actually made me view it more as a movie and want to participate in it more as a movie. Like, what would be more of a theatrical thing to do in this moment?
And I think that also will work with youth because they use the camera in the phones and stuff, so they can relate more to it. With, oh, I'm on the camera now. I'm the point of attention. yeah, I really like the style.
And the
Yeah.
thing with the camera too, something that really what pick up on too is thinking to be doing it, you can move people like with a movie, you can just move the party into a location. Like that time when I needed to get everybody back together, because that'll happen. You want everybody to be able to go out and do their thing, but at some point, everyone needs to go back together, and that can be hard. So the thing with the camera trick, it allows you to go, all right, camera goes off, and now you're all in a room and you're all talking to one another. Um, it helps you out as a GM just with the hard parts, like, oh, I don't have to figure out, all right, you go here, you go there. You're kind of just in a space.
Mhm.
So I'm glad you guys enjoyed that.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's a nice trick, and it's been noted.
All right, cool.
Oh yeah.
All right. Any other questions?
What was on all the other levels? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I just have to say, I really had a good time because I usually don't play characters like Vigo. I'm not the one that plays the guy who just runs into stuff and picking a fight and being just a jerk. So it's kind of fun to play it.
But that's kind of what GM and DMing is, and it lets you break out. Like I think from a role playing view, and this definitely may apply to you guys. It just helps the people break out of what their mundane is.
Yeah.
Like you can be, and you're lovable doing it. And that's the thing that you do want to watch is that you don't have players who are vindictive doing it. Like, oh, I'm going to get everybody in trouble
No.
because I want to. You never did that. And that was really cool. That was really good game playing style because that can happen with that type of character is a person could play it completely differently. And all of a sudden, the party is fighting every dealer and beating everybody together and everything.
Yeah. And as I said, also as I said, she pulled me away from the table because where's the fun in playing if I'm just gonna stand by the table and die? There's no fun in that. So yeah, let's move along. Cool scene, cut. Next scene. My thought anyway.
Sorry, my character was such an edgelord kind of a feel there. It's all the skills are like fear and intimidation and sleep and like be a creep.
Hey, but at least you didn't call me a meat shield, so it's okay.
That's what the big strong thing that runs into combat behind the guy that either shoots the arrows or does the magic. That's the meat shield. And so being the quote unquote magic user in this system, I'm kind of like, well, then I'm going to hide behind him. Or I'm looking through my abilities, though, as far as magic going, okay, there's not really a lot here that's combat helpful except for the shield. But then as we're falling, even as we were falling, I'm like, I know immediately I want to get out. I want to use this teleport to get out of the situation and to heck with the rest of you people, because that's what the super smart magic user is going to do. It's like, nope, I don't got it in me.
But that's why like magic users stay alive longer. I think everybody, like, one, I enjoy playing. Everybody played their character really well. I thought everybody had a lot of input into how their character moved, and how they went. And you guys all contributed as a team. So you could tell that, that's the hard part. Are you going to get 5 individuals or 6 individuals, or are you going to get 6 people who play as a team? And you guys all played together really well as a team.
We rule. The runarounds, we rule.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Awesome.
With our powers combined.
You guys did. Yeah, and then there was a lot of teamwork too. And that's something else, like while I'm just kind of giving DM advice, because that's what this is about, is really try to get people to work together as a team. There was a moment where I saw a really good point where I can just drop Helena in. So her and now Vigo are now working together. And I thought that was really cool. And that was really interesting. Or the cutscene where Faust was threatening, even though he was threatening the waitress. And that kind of happened. I also wanted to, before I start, I wanted to actually point out the waitress and stuff. I'm asking, and I'm almost pleading as a minority in D&D, not minority, but black male in D&D. We don't see, like when I play games, I don't see a lot of characters that are other races, other genders. I'm asking, especially 6 new GMs. That goes a long way to really diversifying the hobby. You find an image, like a search, make it as diverse as you can. I always use diverse images, and I try to have little backstories to my character, so that certain characters, it's like every character isn't just your regular, cisgender. Like that's what it is. They're different, and they come from different parts of the environment, because the D&D is just open to everybody. And I'm not going to say now, but it is open. And there were times like when it wasn't. I've gone to conventions for 30 years or 20 years more or less. And I've been places where I sat down and it's like, you shouldn't sit down here. And I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna sit down here. But we're a little bit further than that, and I think that should come across in our games. I hope that you guys can employ some of those things in your games. I also too want to say just before I go any further, too, this adventure. There's a place called DriveThruRPG.com. Uh, I get a lot of my adventure pieces from there, and this was the pieces from several things. There's a big puzzle book called Wally's GM Puzzle Book, Puzzle Adventures, puzzle encounters. Awesome. Has like 60 some odd encounters, and the entire casino was inspired from this. It is awesome, and it's system neutral, so you can plug it into any system. It's really cool. There's a map website, and I'm gonna post that in the link where I get my maps from. If you guys want cool maps and stuff, they're called CZU, and I thought they say Pew, CZU and Pew, but their Patreon is on there, and each one of their maps is $1. It's really cool artists, and I love theater of the mind, and I try to do my games theater of the mind with a map to know where you are. So like that last battle, I hope everyone was imagining them free falling and fighting and slashing around. Even though the map is at static, it just lets you know where you are. And I think the two can work together. And where you're like, okay, I'm on a map and this mini's on a map and you're playing like, Warhammer. Like I said, I'm a mini person. I love it, but I don't ever want my D&D to feel like I'm going, okay, now 5 steps, 5 steps. I want it to feel like a movie. Like I want to be Indiana Jones. I want to be the warrior. So I hope you guys, if you guys do decide to use maps, that you remember theater of the mind is still the engine behind it. Make sure that smell, taste, feel when somebody stabs somebody, the bones cracking, the flesh ripping. What do you feel when this happens? Make sure they include those in your games. And when you guys go through further adventures, describe your actions like that. Like, all right, yes, I want to feel his kidney. I feel my sword poke at his kidney, and I can feel it burst as I continue inside, and it scrapes against his rib cage. So anyway, stuff like that. Stuff like that.
Another thing I learned is handouts. Handouts is a wonderful, wonderful thing to use because you're being more immersed in the story. If you get the map and you read the map or get the ring or stuff like that, use handouts.
And I made most of these in Microsoft Word.
Yeah.
I just put an image down, like the ring was red, and I wanted to make sure that was a clue, but it was blue, and I couldn't find 3 diamond rings as red because I guess they don't exist. Like in that, so I just like went into like Microsoft Photo and changed the color of them. So I say this a lot. I work at a place where the difference between good and great is about 20 minutes usually. 20 minutes took me about 20 minutes to make these handouts. They go a long way to making your player, one, they solve it for themselves. So you're not doing a lot of dialogue. You are saying, hey, I don't have to say anything. I hope you figure it out. And if they can't figure it out, give me a roll. Let me give you a hint. Let me help you out a little bit. Or if they're, if you have a character like Big O, like
Call of Cthulhu, and it's like it's a game just of handouts. Basically, it's like here's 95 handouts for you for this adventure.
Now that is something too. Watch out for over handout. Like that is the thing. I play Call of Cthulhu, and I'm like, because I've played some mysteries, and they couldn't find a mystery because there's like 50 handouts. So you gotta kind of be a little careful and make sure, just like Chekhov's gun is, and everybody's heard of the concept Chekhov's gun. Make sure that happens. If you use a handout, if you deliver a handout, make sure that you put it in play. I mean that it's in play, or it's a good enough red herring where it's going to come up at some other point, because players like that. Players like the idea of 5 or 6 episodes down the line or games down the line. Oh man, I remembered that handout. We have the clue to this puzzle. Those are really good moments because they get this good feeling about things. And that's what you want players walking away with, feeling like this alternative person that they did just matters in this world. And it does. And they were able to work with other people and get things accomplished. You guys defeated this ancient lightning dragon and came back from death. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
We did a lot today.
It was a lot.
Thank you so much for that. I really was, when you're talking about the visceral piece of it, when you're really bringing that sensory imagery in, like I really felt that today when you were doing that, and it made the play super enjoyable.
Glad you guys had a great time.
Thank you.
I gotta run out to dinner in about maybe 15-20 minutes, but I got time for some more questions. Foster, did you want to ask another question, or? Okay. All right. Tony.
you.